Chen Feng, I heard you went to challenge a heavy-duty truck yesterday? That's right. I believe fighting foes far stronger than myself is the way to push past my limits and awaken superpowers. That's how it goes in novels anyway. Nice. Did you pull it off? I failed, Chen Feng sighed. I tried to negotiate with the truck driver, but he chased me away. They wouldn't bring the truck out for a one-on-one fight. Across the desk, a chubby classmate stared in shock. I thought you'd just charge straight onto the national highway and crash into the truck. Chen Feng shook his head. You don't get it. Heavy-duty trucks are actually skittish creatures. If you rush at them out of nowhere, you might scare them into rolling over. The chubby boy smirked. Huh, at least you've got decent morals. You're just a little unhinged, always looking for ways to get yourself hurt. This isn't looking for harm. These are my methods to awaken my powers. Chen Feng protested. In this world, only those who have awakened superpowers can absorb cosmic energy. They can cultivate and grow stronger and unlock additional abilities later on. People call them ability users. Flame users, beast, blood users, floral users, truck, affinity users, countless ability wielders each possess unique, extraordinary talents that define their place in the world. Everyone gets one awakening ritual at age 15, yet only 1 in 15 people succeed. Chen Feng had failed his awakening back then, but he refused to give up because he was a transmigrator. Hadn't every web novel taught him that transmigrators are protagonists? Setbacks were only normal for a main character. Once he came to terms with that, he told himself it wasn't that he couldn't awaken, the timing simply hadn't come. After learning extreme life, threatening circumstances could trigger spontaneous awakenings. Chen Feng decided that was his path. He began copying spontaneous awakening cases he saw online, constantly pushing himself to dangerous extremes. First came physical conditioning. Starting at 15, he trained relentlessly to push his body to its breaking point. He subjected himself to full body strength workouts, never resting even when sick. He went on long, grueling runs weighed down by dozens of pound sandbags. He punched and kicked a training sandbag non-stop until his arms grew numb and aching. He was convinced pushing his body to utter exhaustion would make him stronger, and his hard work did bear fruit. He developed chronic lumbar muscle strain, rotator cuff injuries, tibial periostitis, knee synovitis, and more. No superpower had awakened, yet every twinge of pain excited him. After all, countless fictional predecessors had unlocked powers through agony. Some had awakened after losing their entire clans. Others had gained gifts after enduring torment at the hands of demonkind. Compared to that, his suffering was nothing. It was not enough. Far from enough. Chen Feng subjected himself to various high-pain endurance tests. He endured the sharp discomfort of male pain, simulation exercises. He withstood level 10 contraction shocks on a labor pain simulator, ate chili peppers with mouth ulcers, sprinkled salt on open wounds, and had teeth pulled without anesthetic. None of these torments triggered his awakening. Desperate, he turned to the most dangerous known trigger, direct mortal peril. He tried tightrope walking, bungee jumping, rock climbing. He went skydiving, paragliding, and survived in the wilderness. Occasionally, he ventured to zones where monsters appeared, hoping for a fiery battle, yet guards always drove him away before he could fight. For 3 years, he had tried nearly everything to unlock extraordinary gifts, courting danger at every turn. He became famous at school. Students dubbed him the master of reckless risk-taking. Even without awakening, Chen Feng remained convinced he simply had not pushed himself far enough. Back in the classroom, more students crowded around him, teasing remarks flying. Here we go again, Chen Feng lost in daydreams? Still counting on spontaneous awakening? Online sources say the odds are only 0.1%. You should try the Ironman triathlon. News said an 80-year-old man awakened mid 1.5 kilometer swim. That's not extreme enough. Why not jump into a crocodile pond and race them? Nah, bungee, jump without a safety cord. 666. Ride a roller coaster without a seatbelt. Better yet, cling to an airplane as it takes off. As the students chattered away, a neat featured girl with glasses walked over. Her expression was stern. You're encouraging self-endangerment. If Chen Feng really hurts himself badly, none of you get to walk away blameless. The class laughed it off. Come on, class rep, we're just joking. Chen Feng wouldn't actually do all that. He talked about challenging trucks, but he never really went through with it. Ignoring them, Lu Ning looked at Chen Feng with helplessness. No matter how hard you push yourself, you won't awaken. You'll only end up seriously hurt. Why can't you accept reality? Cut back on those novels. You're just an ordinary person. Chen Feng fell silent. How could he accept that? Back in his old world, he had been ordinary, fine. To transmigrate here and still be ordinary? Wouldn't that make the whole transmigration pointless? Seeing him say nothing, Lu Ning's heart ached. They were both day students living in the same residential compound. She had witnessed his reckless after-school stunts, and they terrified her. She truly feared he would get himself killed one day. She spoke earnestly. The college entrance exam is only 4 months away. Let go of this obsession and plan for your future. Your grades aren't great, but you can still get into a decent junior college. Good vocational colleges can be just as valuable as universities. Learn a trade, and you can live a good life. Our homes are close. If you want to aim for university, I can tutor you after school. For months still leaves a chance. Chen Feng stayed quiet. Lu Ning was kind and genuinely wished him well. He would not snap back with arrogant lines. That would be ungrateful. Yet awakening remained his obsession, and he would not abandon it. So whenever she lectured him, he pretended not to hear. Ever since he turned 15, his mindset had been simple. If it did not kill him, he would keep pushing. Lu Ning sighed at his silence. At the very least, value your life. Stop doing stupid things like confronting trucks. Chen Feng coughed lightly. Got it. He told small, harmless lies. Just like dealing with nagging elders, superficial agreement cost nothing. Suddenly a student shouted toward the window. Whoa, look outside. Something's wrong with the air above the plaza. Curious students flocked over. What is it? The air is cracking. It's glitching. It's getting bigger. That's a dimensional rift. Monsters are invading. Chen Feng's eyes widened. Dimensional rifts were portals connecting Earth to other worlds. They opened across the globe from time to time. Each rift meant hordes of otherworldly creatures pouring into reality. Wait a minute. Was this the life or death opportunity he needed to force an awakening? At that exact moment, the school loudspeakers blared. All students, emergency. Monster invasion. Monster invasion. Everyone move indoors immediately. Lock all doors and windows. Stay far away from monsters. Defenders will arrive as fast as possible. Panic swept through the classroom. Chen Feng peered out. Creatures poured endlessly out of the spatial crack. Within moments, over a dozen grotesque monsters emerged, and a black, armored demon stood at their center. At the demon's command, the monsters scattered to attack. Class had just ended. Students milled across the plaza and hallways, becoming the first targets. A bat, like monster half the height of a human, armed with sharp barbed tail, dove straight for Chen Feng's classroom. Beating its wings, it burst through the still, unclosed window and flew inside. Shit! A monster got in. Run! Screams erupted. Students scrambled backward. The bat, monster's eyes locked onto Lu Ning, who stood frozen. It surged toward her on beating wings. Lu Ning froze, helpless as the creature bore down. At the critical moment, a figure darted in front of her. Chen Feng's eyes burned with excitement as he drove his right fist hard into the monster's skull. Crack! Bone snapped with a sickening, sharp sound. Every bone in his right hand shattered. His entire right arm fractured instantly. The bat, monster's eye socket caved in. It let out a shrill, ear-piercing screech echoing through the room. Shock from catastrophic injury numbed Chen Feng, and he felt almost no pain. Grim-faced, he raised his left arm to grab the monster's neck. The monster's razor, sharp tail shot forward. Squelch. Blood sprayed. Chen Feng's left arm was pierced clean through, rendered useless. Instead of terror, exhilaration welled inside him. This was the cost of fighting a far stronger foe. This was the feeling of staring death in the face. It was happening. He could feel it. This time he would definitely awaken. He would fight to the very end. Even with both arms crippled, he refused to step back. He lunged forward and sank his teeth into the monster's throat. The bat, monster shrieked, yanking its tail free to finish him off. Chen Feng twisted his head and tore out a chunk of its flesh. The monster's tail, spike-thin, shot forward, piercing straight through Chen Feng's neck. Squelch. Blood gushed from both their necks. Chen Feng stiffened and crumpled to the floor. The bat, monster wrenched its tail free, trying to flutter away. But it wobbled through the air, then crashed heavily to the ground and went still. The gory sight horrified the whole classroom. Lu Ning's legs buckled, and she sank down into pooling blood. Her mind went blank, replaying the sight of Chen Feng throwing himself between her and the monster. How? How could this happen? A burning heat suddenly bloomed between her brows, fire, like energy racing through her whole body. She paid it no mind. Frantically, she pressed her hands against the gushing wound on Chen Feng's neck, trying to stem the bleeding. Her efforts were futile. As blood drained away, light faded from Chen Feng's eyes. Tears welled in Lu Ning's eyes. Don't die, please don't die. Why did you save me, you fool? Chen Feng could barely hear her. His consciousness drifted away. He grew cold. Was this awakening? No. Something was wrong. He thought he was dying. Weren't transmigrators supposed to be protagonists? Damn those web novels. Right as his consciousness was about to vanish, a mechanical voice echoed in his mind. Post-mortality imminent. Undying panel activating, undying function active. Host transcends mortal life. Death rules. Instant resurrection upon death. No force in existence can erase you. Death reward system online. Each unique manner of death unlocks a random superpower. Note: repeating the same death yields no new powers. Death essence panel online. Every death grants death essence, usable to raise cultivation or strengthen abilities. Cause of death: neck piercing. Death essence +3. Unlocked basic ability: piercing force. You may fire one piercing projectile from your palm. Damage rises at close range. System initialization complete. Resurrection commencing. Dead silence hung over the classroom. Students stood rooted, shaken to their cores. This time Chen Feng really pushed it too far. He tried to force an awakening by fighting above his level. He's insane. Don't say that. He was brave. We should burn paper offerings for him. Burn some novels too. He loved reading those. Lu Ning wept beside the body. Idiot, you promised you would be careful. Reckless fool, dumb idiot. Before she finished speaking, Chen Feng's awareness returned. Hearing her scolding, he blinked. Why are you insulting a corpse? Lu Ning froze mid-sob. Every student stared in terror. He's alive. He's actually alive. What is this? Is he an undead monster? Stop him. Take him down. Hearing that, Chen Feng jumped to his feet. Hey, are you guys planning to desecrate my dead body? Students scrambled backward, keeping their distance. Chen Feng grumbled. Have you ever seen an undead monster that can think and talk clearly? I wasn't dead. Relief washed over the class. Someone asked curiously. But you were definitely gone. What happened to your neck wound? Chen Feng touched his neck. The piercing hole had fully healed. The undying panel really was incredible. He grinned. I awakened. Who would have thought? Fighting stronger foes really works. The whole room stared in disbelief. For 3 years they had laughed at the self, proclaimed risk taker, written him off as delusional. Yet he had actually awakened through that very path? Wait, he really awakened. Look at his neck. No ordinary human survives a hole through the throat. For real? Tonight I'm going to go pick fights with heavy-duty trucks too. Better to step outside and fight the monsters instead. Ahem. No, I'm not doing that. You have to be one of a kind to awaken this way. A chorus of astonishment filled the room. Everyone's attitude shifted, and they looked at Chen Feng with genuine awe. Lu Ning paid no attention to the chatter. She stood dazed. You're truly alive. Chen Feng turned toward her, cheerful. Of course I am. Look at me dash. Before he could finish, Lu Ning threw herself into his arms. She hugged him tight, her shoulders shaking with suppressed sobs. Thank goodness you're all right. Chen Feng felt her trembling. She had been thoroughly terrified. Slightly taken aback, he patted her back. Hey, don't get so upset. It was just a fatal injury, nothing big. Lu Ning pulled back, cheeks flushed. I'm sorry, and thank you for saving me. Chen Feng smiled. It was no big deal. The class kept speculating about his new power. What kind of innate ability did Chen Feng awaken? His neck healed instantly. High-speed self-healing? No way, that's advanced super. Regeneration. That's at least a king-tier ability. Chen Feng listened and understood. An innate ability was the first power a person gained upon awakening. After unlocking it, one could learn additional secondary abilities through inheritance. Secondary abilities were rare. Most users never gained even one, and only exceptional geniuses mastered one or two. When ranked equally, secondary abilities performed just as well as innate ones. But the tier of your innate power set the hard upper limit for your personal cultivation level. Ability users were ranked in 10 tiers: basic, intermediate, advanced, super, tier, grand, tier, king, tier, emperor, tier, sovereign, tier, saint, tier, heavenly, lord tier. This ranking applied to abilities as well. Awakening a heavenly lord tier innate ability meant you could cultivate all the way to heavenly lord tier yourself. A basic tier innate usually trapped you at basic tier with no way forward. Even if a basic tier user somehow obtained a heavenly lord tier ability, insufficient cultivation would let them wield only a tiny fraction of its true power. Full potential could only be unlocked by matching one's personal rank to the ability's rank. Chen Feng was under no such restrictions. He had not awakened a normal innate ability. He possessed the Undying System. It granted him the full power of something at least on par with Heavenly Lord tier, perhaps even higher, a realm beyond known classification. Right, the monsters. Chen Feng glanced out the window. Only a dozen or so monsters roamed the plaza, yet they had left devastation in their wake, students fleeing everywhere. Every other classroom had its doors and windows sealed tight, students watching outside in dread. Where are the ability, user classes, and their teachers? Why are only ordinary students getting hurt? Chen Feng asked. There was one ability, user class per grade, fewer than 60 ability, users in the whole school. They should have been able to put up some resistance. Lu Ning answered. Today is the inter-school annual assessment. Every ability, user student, and their teachers are off taking part in it. Chen Feng's eyes widened. So I am the only extraordinary being in this entire school right now. His classmates exchanged uneasy glances. Yes. Chen Feng looked out the window again. Fighting these monsters would give him new ways to die. Each death meant another new superpower. His hunger for risk burned bright once more. Without hesitation, he headed for the door. Lu Ning panicked. Wait, where are you going? Chen Feng's eyes lit up with anticipation. I'm going outside to fight those demon forces. The class was stunned. What? You're going to take on all those monsters alone? Even with an amazing innate power, that's suicide. You're only a basic tier user. No matter how high tier your ability is, you can barely tap 1% of its strength. Lu Ning pleaded urgently. Those monsters plus that armored demon are far too strong for a basic tier user. Don't throw your life away. Chen Feng said enthusiastically. No. This isn't courting death. To me, this is actually a form of cultivation. You guys don't read enough novels, so you wouldn't understand. Which protagonist doesn't break through their boundaries through life and death battles? Only by constantly facing powerful foes can you level up quickly. Hearing this, Lu Ning froze. She slowly lowered her head and clutched the hem of her clothes tightly. Why? Why do people who have awakened powers still have to do such reckless things? Chen Feng paused in his steps and smiled faintly. I won't die this time. With that, he walked out of the classroom without hesitation. On the square at that moment, numerous magical beasts were still rampaging about. The black, armored demons stood in the center of the square, watching everything with cold indifference. Floor tiles lay shattered. Students scattered in panic. Cries and the screeches of monsters intertwined, painting a scene of utter chaos. Chen Feng cleared his throat, cupped his hands around his mouth, and shouted, Everyone, look over here. I want all of you to aid my cultivation. His voice boomed, instantly drawing everyone's attention. Not only the demon on the square turned toward him, but countless students in the classrooms also cast their gazes outside. Who is this? Is it an ability, user coming to save us? Great. An ability, user. We're saved. No, wait, isn't that the notorious daredevil from Class 6, Senior Year 3? That lunatic. I thought he was just an ordinary human who never awakened any powers. We're doomed. It's the daredevil. We're finished. What is he doing out there? He said something about cultivation just now. Is he trying to force an awakening by risking his life? I've heard rumors that this daredevil isn't mentally stable, and now I'm seeing it for myself. No wonder everyone calls him the daredevil. This guy truly doesn't value his own life. Ugh, what a letdown. Meanwhile, Chen Feng strode toward the center of the square and looked at the demon. Are you the leader? Tell your magical beasts to stop hurting the students. Fight me instead. I can take a beating. The black, armored demon narrowed its eyes at Chen Feng and then burst into loud laughter. Ha! Are you joking? After all this, the humans send someone like you, a low-tier ability user, to fight me? Chen Feng replied calmly. I alone am enough to deal with you. The demon sneered. Are you serious? Chen Feng tilted his chin upward. Do I look like I'm joking? Humph. You brought this on yourself. The demon's expression turned icy, and it curled a finger slightly. In the next instant, a wild boar, like magical beast, locked onto Chen Feng. White steam puffed from its nostrils, and it charged straight for him. An ordinary wild boar's charge could shatter an adult human's ribs, let alone this demonic boar. Yet Chen Feng made no move to dodge. He spread his arms wide. Come. This reckless act filled everyone watching with shock. In the blink of an eye, the demonic boar crashed violently into Chen Feng. Boom. A deafening crash echoed. The impact sent Chen Feng flying through the air. He arced through the sky and crashed heavily onto the ground. You have perished from massive blunt force impact. Death points plus 12. Unlocked mid-tier ability. Impact reversal. When struck by any blow or impact, you may reflect the full force of the attack back toward your assailant, doubled in strength. To any normal observer, he should have been well and truly dead. The demon scoffed. Foolish. Lu Ning, hiding inside the classroom, felt her vision go blank. Students across the school watching the scene could no longer hold back their reactions. No way. I actually thought he might have real power for a second there. I'll admit he's brave, but his judgment is truly warped. Is humanity really without hope? Wait, look at Chen Feng. He's moving. He's not dead. He's getting back up. He doesn't seem hurt at all. He's warming up. Chen Feng brushed dust off his body and stretched his limbs slowly. Rolling his shoulders, he laughed. That feeling of being smashed by brute force, what a thrill. Dying once and unlocking a mid-tier ability already felt incredible. The demon frowned and muttered. A body, refinement, school ability, user? Chen Feng looked up at him. That blow was satisfying. Come on, try to kill me again. The demon's voice turned frigid. It seems you truly cannot grasp the gap between our strengths. It issued another command. This time the demonic boar backed far away, pawing furiously at the ground with its front hooves. You may not know this, but this is a mid-tier magical beast. What you just endured was merely 1/10 of its full power. Now it will fight for real. Violent air currents swirled around the boar as its aura surged. Muscles bulged, and its body visibly expanded. Its height grew from 1 meter to 2, and its length stretched to nearly 3 meters. Its enormous form radiated overwhelming menace. Every student watching felt chills run down their spines. Chen Feng, on the other hand, burned with wild excitement. Great. Perfect. This is what I'm talking about. The demon mocked him. Are you laughing? This strike carries 10 times the power of the last one. It will tear you apart. As soon as the words left its mouth, the fully charged giant demonic boar pushed off the ground with all 4 hooves. With a thunderous roar, the colossal beast sprinted toward Chen Feng. Silence fell over the square. Every pair of eyes locked onto this heart-stopping scene. That idiot. Why won't he run? That charge is like getting hit by a truck. No human could survive that. He's definitely going to die this time. But at the very moment the giant boar closed in, Chen Feng raised his right hand slightly. The air before him twisted. An invisible force field unfolded, and his mid-tier ability impact reversal activated instantly. Boom. The boar's head exploded on the spot, spraying blood and flesh everywhere. Its massive body went flying like a struck basketball and slammed onto the square pavement. Complete silence descended over the entire scene. Watching this, Lu Ning's mind hummed. Chen Feng's earlier words echoed in her ears. I won't die this time. She stared fixedly at the boy on the square, her mind reeling. Deep within her once clear eyes, a wisp of multicolored flame flickered to life. She pressed her palm against the window pane, the flames in her irises trembling. So powerful. Meanwhile, teachers and students alike erupted in commotion. Every classroom window was packed with onlookers. Whoa, what just happened? It exploded. Chen Feng blew that boar apart. How did he do that? I get it now. Chen Feng is an ability, user, and an extremely powerful one. Didn't someone just say the daredevil was crazy? That's not insanity. That's absolute confidence in his own strength. Ahem. Fine, I'll admit it. I was the fool. Thank goodness. The daredevil is an ability, user. We're saved again. Chen Feng stood there, his face drained of color. His body felt utterly spent. His right hand was numb, barely functional. Sure enough, a mid-tier ability took a heavy toll on someone of his low-tier rank. Casting at once had nearly drained him completely. Thankfully, he possessed immortality. Dying and reviving shortly would restore him fully. Chen Feng forced himself to look bold and brash as he faced the demon. That boar was pretty weak. It barely hit hard. Send all your magical beasts at me together. The demon's expression darkened completely. It waved one arm. All the remaining magical beasts swarmed around it in an instant, fixing hungry gazes on Chen Feng. Chen Feng's eyes lit up. Oh. The demon stared at him, filled with killing intent. Kill him. The instant the command was given, a nearly 5-meter-long black giant python shot forward. In less than 2 seconds, it coiled tightly around Chen Feng's whole body. Crushing pressure constricted him, and its coils steadily tightened around his neck. The suffocating squeeze was brutal. Crack. Bone. Grinding sounds rang out, and his neck snapped. You have perished from strangulation. Death points +3. Unlocked low-tier ability, steel neck. Effect. Your neck gains the hardness of tempered steel. Less than a second after his neck broke, Chen Feng's body healed completely. To his delight, the exhaustion brought on by using impact reversal had also vanished. Inner joy surging, he taunted again. Is that all you've got? Put some strength into it. The demon's face turned livid. Crush him flat. The python obeyed, tensing its muscles and squeezing Chen Feng's torso harder with every loop. A chorus of cracking bones echoed. Too tight. Chen Feng trembled all over, his eyes rolling backward. Every teacher and student held their breath, their hearts in their throats. What's happening? Is he done for? Why isn't he using that trick that blew up the boar? Maybe he can only use it once. Then we're doomed. Wait and see. He might still have a trick up his sleeve. He's turning purple from being squeezed. What more could he possibly do? The python kept tightening. The sickening sound of breaking bones grew louder. Every bone in his body shattered, and Chen Feng died once more. You have perished from constriction. Death points plus 15. Unlocked mid-tier ability, Binding Breaker. A ring of slicing airflow erupts across your skin, severing any restraints holding you captive. The demon looked on with triumphant glee. Ha! You're finished now. But in the next moment, Chen Feng's rolled back eyes snapped open. He looked at the demon with fierce excitement. The demon's pupils shrank, and cold dread shot up its spine. SSS-rank. A circular slicing airflow burst outward around Chen Feng. Instantly, countless deep gashes tore open across the python's skin, and blood gushed freely. Writhing in agony, the serpent fled in panic. Chen Feng's twisted, compressed body shuddered. Crack, 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 crack. Displaced bones snapped back into place. Sunken flesh reformed. In the blink of an eye, he was whole again. Woohoo, that felt great. Chen Feng shouted in exhilaration. The demon stared in shock. How is this possible? Chen Feng grinned and taunted further. Your python is nothing special. That squeeze barely registered. Bring on everything you've got. He secretly hoped all the magical beasts would attack him at once. The whole school burst into cheers. Chen Feng, you're amazing. Salute to the legendary damage, Soaking King. Don't back down. Go for it, brave guy. Beat that demon. Shouts echoed across the campus, growing louder and louder. The student body burned with passionate fervor. The demon stepped backward in alarm. Attack! All of you! Kill him! At its command, more than a dozen magical beasts charged toward Chen Feng from every direction. Chen Feng spread his arms in wild delight. Yes, that's exactly what I want. Lethal assaults rained down upon him. A magical eagle seized him and hurled him from high altitude. The moment he hit the ground, a black bull gored him through the abdomen with its horns. Poisonous insects burrowed into his body, trying to destroy his nervous system with venom. A bear smashed his skull. Corrosive acid melted his flesh. Spikes pierced his heart. Claws tore open his chest. Within 3 short minutes, Chen Feng experienced more than 10 different ways to die. Meanwhile, ability, unlock notifications kept popping up. You have perished from a high-altitude fall. Death points plus 4. Unlocked low-tier ability, Feather Descent. Effect, you may drift gently to the ground like a feather when falling from heights. You have been gored to death by bull horns. Death points plus 3. Unlocked low-tier ability, Horns. Effect, you can grow a pair of horns from your forehead. You are gored by bull horns again. No new ability unlocked. You have perished from nerve poison. Death points plus 7. Unlocked low-tier ability, Pain Tolerance. Effect, your body's resistance to pain is greatly increased. You have perished as your flesh is dissolved by acid. Death points plus 21. Unlocked mid-tier ability, Superior Regeneration. Effect, your bodily recovery speed is drastically amplified. Minor wounds heal instantly. Severe injuries mend rapidly with rest. Unlocked, Mighty Charge, Blood Coagulation, Sharp Claws, Displace Heart. Ability after ability unlocked with every death. Ha! This is awesome. Keep it coming. Try your hardest to kill me. 3 years of pent-up frustration was finally paying off. Overwhelming excitement surged through him. Though every new ability came at the cost of agony, he felt exhilarated, suffering yet thriving. When the magical eagle swooped down again, his eyes burned with mania. He seized its head directly. Bang, 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 piercing force burst forth from his palms, boring straight through the eagle's skull. Right afterward, a fierce tiger lunged, aiming for his throat. Steel neck activated at once. Crack! The tiger's fangs snapped clean off. Chen Feng extended sharp claws and slashed across its neck. Blood spurted from the tiger's throat. A giant bear suddenly charged from behind and wrapped its huge arms around him. Chen Feng grinned. SSS-rank. Binding Breaker's slicing airflow erupted, carving countless wounds across the bear's torso. Roaring in agony, the bear staggered backward. Chen Feng spun around and activated both horns and Mighty Charge. Hard, long horns sprouted from his forehead. He lowered his head and charged, slamming into the bear's chest. Squelch! Horns pierced flesh and organs. The bear sustained grievous harm. Chen Feng retracted his horns. Exhaustion from depleted ability energy washed over him once more. Without hesitation, he drove his sharp claws into his own forehead. In the next instant, his condition returned to perfect. Ha 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 ha. Covered in blood, Chen Feng laughed loudly. This battle is amazing. Without pause, he rushed toward the next magical beast. Fighting by throwing himself into harm's way and trading injuries for power, he slaughtered the beasts one after another. Before long, over a dozen monster corpses piled up at his feet. Witnessing this horrifying scene, the black, armored demon trembled uncontrollably. You, what in the world are you? Panic flooded the demon's mind. It had watched Chen Feng endure blow after blow that should have been fatal. Yet every single time, he recovered instantly, and he wielded so many different abilities. This far exceeded what a body, refinement, school user could accomplish. No low-tier ability user ought to possess such power. Fear gripped the demon, and thoughts of fleeing took root. It was only a mid-tier demon whose specialty was beast taming. If its beast could not kill Chen Feng, what hope did it have? Your turn. Come on. Try to kill me. Chen Feng advanced slowly toward him, his eyes blazing with battle frenzy. Stay back. Don't come any closer. The demon scrambled backward. Its right palm split open to reveal a circular aperture. Bang. A black projectile the size of a ping-pong ball shot out and slammed into Chen Feng's chest, burrowing deep and leaving a gruesome wound. Thanks to pain tolerance, Chen Feng felt only a dull ache. The pain was barely noticeable. The attack had not even come close to killing him. Chen Feng stared at the demon in disbelief. That's all you've got? Really? The demon shook all over, retreating further. Chen Feng's tone turned sharp. You call yourself a demon, yet you can't even deliver a killing blow? Aren't you the leader of these beasts? Show me what you're truly capable of. He pushed off the ground and charged forward. Stay away. The demon screamed and poured all its strength into its next attack. Bang, 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 bang. Dozens of black projectiles flew in rapid succession, embedding themselves in Chen Feng's shoulders, chest, abdomen, and limbs. You have perished from massive organ damage caused by black projectiles. Death points plus 23. Unlocked mid-tier ability, Surging Vitals. Surging Vitals. For a short time, all your internal organs operate at maximum efficiency, greatly boosting your physical strength. Afterward, you will suffer prolonged exhaustion. His body regenerated quickly, and the embedded projectiles were forced out. Chen Feng looked at the demon with satisfaction. Not bad. Got any other tricks? Hurry and show me. The demon dared not attack again. I am only a mid-tier beast tamer. All my magical beasts are dead. Chen Feng frowned. In that case, I will send you to join them. He stepped directly in front of the demon, ready to finish the fight. The demon swallowed hard and could not hold back its question. Why? You are only a low-tier ability user. How can you be so powerful? Chen Feng thought for a couple of seconds. Maybe I am a 1-in-a-million genius ability user? The demon froze for a moment. Then realization dawned. I understand now. It's an origin force overdraft. Your origin ability must be of an extremely high rank, yet you've completely burned it out. Such immense talent has just been squandered by you. Chen Feng frowned. What nonsense are you spouting? He stretched out his sharp claws, intending to kill the creature. At that moment, the demon's face twisted with rage, and he shouted frantically, Wait. You can't kill me. Do you know who I am? I am a subordinate of the 100-eyed demon Marquis. Hearing this, Chen Feng let out a laugh. Still trying to bluff me even when death is staring you in the face? The demon hastily added, No. What I mean is that I carry the 100-eyed demon seal inside my body. If you kill me, you will be cursed by the 100-eyed demon Marquis and hunted down endlessly. Chen Feng froze for a split second. Hunted down? Seeing Chen Feng halt, the demon assumed he was afraid. Growing emboldened, he sneered and kept threatening him. Once the origin force overdraft wears off, your body will be ruined instantly. Even an ordinary demon will be able to kill you then. Furthermore, I might as well tell you, more than 30 subordinates of the 100-eyed demon Marquis are hiding within this city. Should you fall under the curse, every single one of them will learn your location at once. They possess far more cruel ways to kill than I do. You won't even know how you died. Having finished his speech, the demon glared arrogantly at Chen Feng. Scared now, Chen Feng grinned. Oh, this was great news. During his previous deaths, he had already discovered that repeating the same way of dying would not unlock new abilities. He had been worrying about where he could find more foes to kill him. A smile spread across Chen Feng's face. Really? You're going to give me such a wonderful gift even on your deathbed. How thoughtful of you. The demon stared blankly. What? Chen Feng said plainly. Well then, out of gratitude, I'll make your death quick and painless. Before the demon could react, Chen Feng drove his claw deep into its neck. The demon's eyes went vacant. Huh. Chen Feng pulled his claw free, and the demon collapsed dead on the ground. Seconds after the demon perished, something strange happened. Wispy demonic energy rose from its corpse and swirled above its chest. Shortly afterward, a murky vertical, pupil eyeball materialized. It hovered over the body, staring unblinkingly at Chen Feng. Chen Feng chuckled at the sight. Facial recognition, huh? He leaned forward and brought his face close to it. Got a good look? He tilted his head from side to side and opened and closed his mouth. Eager for the curse to take effect, Chen Feng went through the whole facial recognition routine earnestly. The demon eye's pupil flickered, seemingly stunned. Chen Feng looked expectant. Remember this face? Send as many people as you can to kill me, all right? The demon eye hung motionless in mid-air for a moment, shot Chen Feng a vicious glare, and then dissolved into wisps of black smoke and vanished. Chen Feng lifted his gaze and looked toward the countless windows of the surrounding high-rise buildings of the teaching complex. Numerous surviving students were watching him, their eyes burning with emotion. Not long ago, every teacher and student in the school had thought Chen Feng was nothing more than a reckless fool who toyed with his own life. Now, all their preconceptions were shattered. All mockery toward Chen Feng had turned into shock and admiration. Facing the gazes of the entire school, Chen Feng called out loudly, "The demons are all dead. You're safe now." The instant his voice faded, deafening cheers erupted across the campus. Chen Feng, you're amazing. We're saved. The master of courting death is incredible. Someone who risks death every day really is different. He can't be killed easily. Let's call him the Undying King from now on. Woohoo! Hail the legendary Undying King. Not the Undying King. He's a hero. Call him a hero. Hero. Layer upon layer of shouts and cheers echoed through every corner of the campus. Inside one classroom, Lu Ning stood rooted to the spot, staring at the high-spirited young man in the middle of the square. 7 colored flames burned brighter and brighter within her pupils. Some memory surfaced, the day she had been abandoned by her family at the age of 15. A surge of strong admiration welled up inside her for Chen Feng. The flames in her eyes shifted from faint flickering to brilliant, shimmering radiance. And then, whoosh, brilliant multicolored flames burst forth and wrapped around her whole body. The flames soon coalesced into the phantom silhouette of a phoenix, dazzling and breathtaking. Gasps rang out across the classroom. Whoa! Lu Ning's engulfed in flames. What? Who's on fire? No, look at Lu Ning. She's burning. Holy cow. Oh my god, oh my god. Lu Ning. Lu Ning has awakened her ability. On the streets outside the school, more than a dozen people in standard combat uniforms sprinted toward the campus at top speed. Hurry! The demonic energy signal has grown stronger. The situation inside is critical. Today is the annual inter-school assessment, and there isn't a single ability user on campus. Damn it. Thousands of students are inside. We cannot afford mass casualties. The guards tensed up, rushing anxiously toward the school. They had expected demons to run amok inside, with no one capable of stopping them. But the moment they burst through the school gates, every single one of them skidded to a halt. The hell scene of rampaging demons they had imagined was nowhere to be seen. Instead, demon corpses littered the ground. In the center of the square stood a tall young man, bathed in bright sunlight and the cheers of countless students. Loud cries kept ringing in their ears. Chen Feng, you're incredible. Master of courting death. You're amazing. Disbelief was written all over the guards' faces. What on earth happened? All the invading demons have been slain. Is Chen Feng the young man in the middle? It looks like it. Did he fight off all the monsters by himself? Chao Yan, the captain of the guards, snapped out of his momentary daze and issued orders at once. Stop staring. Secure every classroom and tally student casualties. Oldly, stay here with me and figure out what's going on. The rest of the guards scattered and hurried toward the teaching buildings. Chao Yan then turned his solemn gaze toward Chen Feng in the square. Chen Feng had noticed the belated guards. What took you so long? Chao Yan spoke with a hint of apology. My apologies. A dozen dimensional rifts opened across the district all at once today. Disasters erupted everywhere. We only finished handling another high-risk site before rushing over here. Surprise flickered across Chen Feng's eyes. So many rifts all of a sudden? What's the cause? Chao Yan replied. We haven't found out yet. But let's set that aside for now. Did you take down every demon and monster here alone? Chen Feng smiled openly. Yes, I did it all. Xiao Yan exchanged glances with Old Li. Both of them looked astonished. How did you manage that? Old Li asked in disbelief. Chen Feng answered casually. Oh, it was nothing. Took care of them easily. Just a dozen monsters and one mid-ranked demon tamer. All small fry. Old Li laughed, his expression full of appreciation. Impressive, lad. Would you be interested in joining the City Guard Corps? Chen Feng was caught off guard. Just like that. Single-handedly wiping out an invasion of demons proves you have more than enough practical combat capability, Xiao Yan said with a smile. Sign a contract with us, and you will be officially recruited once you graduate high school. Our Corps offers training resources comparable to top universities, plus generous resource allocations. It would be an excellent path for you. Chen Feng grinned. Sounds pretty good. I'll think about it. His reply delighted the two guards. It's a deal, then. At that moment, the principal hurried over. He greeted Xiao Yan and Old Li respectfully, then firmly shook Chen Feng's hands. Young man, Chen Feng, right? On behalf of every teacher and student, thank you sincerely. Thank you for the sacrifices you've made for this school and thousands of students. The school will find a way to compensate you. Chen Feng shrugged. It was no sacrifice, just something I happened to do. The principal was still deeply moved, sighing repeatedly. Thank you. Thank you so much. You are our school's savior. Chen Feng cut in opportunely. By the way, now that I've awakened my ability, can I transfer to the ability user class tomorrow? But at those words, the principal's face turned troubled. That, Chen Feng frowned slightly. What's wrong? Can people who awaken abilities late not transfer to the ability user class? The principal said cautiously, it's not that. It's mainly, you might not be an ability user by tomorrow. Chen Feng was dumbfounded. Huh? What did he mean, he wouldn't be an ability user tomorrow? Xiao Yan and Old Li beside him also looked confused. What is going on? The principal looked at Chen Feng hesitantly. Haven't you noticed anything yourself? Noticed what? Chen Feng's brows drew tight. The principal coughed lightly and asked, Chen Feng, you've always been in the ordinary student class. This awakening only happened very recently, didn't it? Chen Feng nodded frankly. Yeah, I just awakened. That explains it. The principal let out a long sigh. Xiao Yan shuddered. He just awakened and already killed so many monsters. Without further explanation, the principal pulled out his phone and pulled up the full campus surveillance footage for the two guards to watch. As they watched the recording, their expressions shifted, and in the end, they looked at Chen Feng with nothing but deep pity. A sense of unease crept over Chen Feng. Hey, what is this all about? Xiao Yan looked at him gravely. You displayed far too much power. Isn't great power a good thing? Chen Feng asked, utterly confused. Old Li shook his head. The problem is how excessive that power was. It looks as though you burned everything away, burned your origin, force, burned your own future. Origin, force overdraft. Chen Feng stared. The demon he had killed earlier had used exactly those same words. Had they all misunderstood something? Precisely. Old Li nodded heavily and explained earnestly. You accidentally triggered origin, force overdraft. It lets your origin ability unleash 100% of its power, even temporarily unlock many secondary abilities, boosting your strength drastically. But the cost is devastating. After the overdraft ends, your origin ability rank will drop. Your cultivation talent and future potential will also be damaged. This is especially true for someone like you, a newly awakened low-rank sorcerer who unleashed power fit for king, rank, or even emperor, rank abilities. An overdraft of this magnitude carries catastrophic side effects. When the overdraft effect fades, you will most likely become an ordinary human forever, unable to cultivate ever again. Chen Feng laughed outright upon hearing this. TCH, I thought it was something serious. You've got it wrong. This is all my own power. It was genuine system power, not some origin ability. There was no overdraft at all. But Chen Feng's words sounded to the others like denial from someone unable to accept reality. Pity in their eyes deepened. It seems he hasn't come to terms with it yet. Natural awakening only happens to fewer than 1 in 1,000 people. He finally got his chance, yet he ruined himself. I would struggle to accept it too. Such a powerful origin, force burst, wasted on nothing but mid-rank monsters. What a waste. Chen Feng's mouth twitched. No, really, it's not what you think. Xiao Yan cut him off. Then explain this. You just awakened and haven't even started cultivating. How can you instantly heal fatal wounds and slay mid-rank monsters in one blow? Is that something a newly awakened person can do? Chen Feng coughed. Well, Maybe I'm a once-in-10,000-year genius? He certainly could not tell them about his system. Chaoyan shook his head helplessly. A true genius fresh out of awakening could wipe out monsters, but not survive every lethal blow the way you do. Old Li spoke in a heavy tone. In my judgment, what you unleashed was more than king rank power. King rank super. Regeneration cannot survive pierced hearts or severed heads. You most likely tapped into emperor rank imperishable body. But regardless of the rank, you have exhausted your origin force completely. Your body truly is going to break down. Chen Feng stared, baffled. But I feel perfectly fine right now. The origin force overdraft effect can last up to a full day. You will only realize your ability is gone by this time tomorrow. Old Li explained with resignation. Chaoyan looked on with sorrow. I know this is hard for you, but I'm sorry. Forget the recruitment offer we made earlier. Treat it as a joke. Old Li sighed. An emperor, rank origin, talent would make you one of the top geniuses in the entire bureau. If you hadn't burned it out, you would surely grow into an emperor, rank sorcerer. Before reaching that rank, you would have dominated your peers and outfought stronger foes effortlessly. Yet it was wasted on low-ranked demons. Ultimately, our slow response is to blame. The principal said helplessly. Chen Feng, I'm sorry. In your current state, you cannot join the ability user class, nor are you eligible for the ability user college entrance examination. I hope you can understand. Chen Feng was completely stunned. Are you kidding me? They had gotten everything so wrong. Just then, a shocked shout echoed from one of the teaching building floors. Captain Chao, come quick. Someone in this classroom has just awakened an ability. Chen Feng looked over. That was his classroom. Someone else had awakened an ability besides him? Chaoyan frowned and called back. Can't you see I'm busy? Late awakenings are nothing to make such a fuss over. But the guard shouted again urgently. Captain, you need to see this. The student has awakened Phoenix. Fire. This is an emperor, rank origin talent. Chaoyan's eyes flew wide open. What? He vanished in a flash, dashing toward the teaching building. Old Li's face paled, and he raced after him. Holy hell! An emperor, rank origin talent? Is this real? The principal was equally thunderstruck. He hastily threw a parting remark at Chen Feng. Chen Feng, go home and rest. Please try to accept reality. With that, he hurried off after the others. In the blink of an eye, all three of them had sprinted away. Chen Feng was left standing alone in the wind, utterly dumbfounded. After a long moment, he muttered helplessly. Can you believe these people? He decided not to bother trying to explain. They said the origin force overdraft would only last a day. He would show them his power tomorrow and clear up the misunderstanding. He glanced toward his classroom. Through the window, he could see what was happening inside. Class monitor Lu Ning stood nervously in the center of a crowd, a lifelike bird-shaped flame swirling over her shoulders. Guards and the principal had all crowded around her, speaking to her excitedly one after another. Chen Feng smiled when he recognized her. It's the class monitor. He still remembered the first year he had started courting death. Lu Ning used to secretly watch him from their neighborhood. Once, she had even come to him, saying she wanted to court death alongside him to force her own awakening. She had only lasted half a month before she could not take it anymore. After that, she would often urge him to face reality. But Chen Feng knew deep down, Lu Ning herself harbored a strong longing to awaken an ability. He did not linger to watch. His gaze swept across the demon corpses scattered all over the square. He had heard that monsters carried demon crystals, valuable for selling and useful for cultivation. Not wanting to waste them, Chen Feng set about digging out the crystals. Meanwhile, the atmosphere inside the classroom was electric. Lu Ning stood awkwardly in the middle of the crowd. Captain Chao Yan's eyes burned with excitement. Lu Ning, with your Phoenix, fire talent, ordinary high, school studies are beneath you. You can join the Guard Bureau right now. The General Bureau will assign you top-tier flame. Attribute sorcerers as exclusive mentors, one-on-one guidance. You will receive priority access to premium cultivation resources, elite techniques, and specialized training grounds. Our training program rivals the best universities. Your future will be boundless. The principal cut in hastily, trying to compete. Hey, don't mislead the child. The Guard Bureau cannot compare to elite universities. Lu Ning, stay in school. I will transfer you to the ability user class tomorrow. I will reach out to the country's top universities right away. With an emperor, rank origin, talent, you can get direct admission. You won't even need to sit the college entrance examination. Noises of bickering echoed incessantly in both ears. Lu Ning suddenly turned her head. Her gaze pierced through the window and landed on the boy in the square who was bent over digging for magic crystals. What about Chen Feng? Does he plan to join the Guardians or take the university entrance exam for supernaturals? At those words, the noisy classroom fell somewhat quiet. An awkward look crossed the principal's face. About student Chen Feng. He cannot get into the Guardians, nor can he transfer to the supernatural ability class. Lu Ning frowned in confusion. Why? Chen Feng is obviously incredibly strong. Everyone in class says he definitely possesses a king rank innate supernatural power. There is even a good chance it is emperor rank. Chen exchanged a glance with the principal and sighed helplessly. He told Lu Ning the whole story, how Chen Feng had overdrawn his innate source and lost most of his natural talent. After hearing everything, Lu Ning froze on the spot. How could this be? She lifted her eyes blankly and looked toward Chen Feng once more. By now Chen Feng had finished digging up all the magic crystals. He turned and strode out of the school gate. It was merely an ordinary departing back, yet to Lu Ning it bore an indescribable air of desolation. A sharp twinge stabbed at Lu Ning's heart. She clutched the hem of her clothes and whispered, "It isn't fair." What? The principal looked puzzled. Are you dissatisfied with the arrangements for the supernatural ability class? Speak up, and we can adjust anything for you. I said this is so unfair to Chen Feng. Lu Ning bit her lower lip. I did nothing at all. I only hid inside the classroom the whole time. It was Chen Feng who saved me, who saved all the teachers and students in this school. Are you just going to give up on him like this? A heavy weight pressed on her chest. Chen Feng has always longed to awaken his power. He so badly wanted to get into the supernatural ability class and become a guardian. He was looking forward to all of this so much. Chen spoke in a soothing low voice. But his condition is such that he will most likely lose his supernatural power. No, that's not right. Lu Ning retorted hastily. Yet she stumbled for words, not knowing what else to say. Bitterness welled up inside her. Chen Feng trained desperately for 3 years just to awaken. He kept dreaming of this day, of becoming a supernatural warrior. And now, barely after gaining his power, it is ruined. He must be in so much pain. He must be on the verge of breaking down. Several guardians present were stunned. The principal quickly caught on. All right, I get it. If all you want is for Chen Feng to join the supernatural ability class, I can make that happen with one word. Even though overdrawing his innate source stops him from further cultivation, there may still be a tiny trace of usable supernatural power left inside him. He can enroll in the supernatural arts class. As for the supernatural ability college entrance exam, I will do my best to fight for opportunities for him. Our savior will not be treated poorly. Chen glanced at the other guardians, and they all shook their heads gently. Lu Ning's eyes softened a little. Thank you, principal. I just think he must be suffering terribly right now. With that, she turned and headed for the door. The principal called out to stop her. Hey, are you going after him? What good will that do? I don't know. Lu Ning kept walking, her tone stubborn. I just feel he needs comfort. He does not even have his parents anymore. Someone ought to help him. Having spoken, Lu Ning rushed out of the classroom toward the school gate. The principal opened his mouth to say more, but held his tongue and did not stop her. Chen thought for 2 seconds and gave an order to the guardians. Escort the principal and this class of students to sign non-disclosure agreements. News about a student awakening an emperor rank innate power must not spread further. It is of vital importance for humanity. Yes. The guardians acknowledged at once. The students in the classroom sat there dumbfounded. Elsewhere, the glow of the setting sun spilled over the streets. In the distance, Lu Ning spotted Chen Feng walking alone. She pressed her lips together and called out softly, Chen Feng. Chen Feng halted and looked back. What is it? Beneath his calm gaze, Lu Ning struggled for words. I want to thank you for saving me back there. And thank you for helping me awaken my innate supernatural power. She had more or less figured out what had happened. The mortal danger of the magic bat about to kill her had triggered great stress. Then Chen Feng's death right before her eyes sent her emotions surging, igniting the spark of awakening deep within her body. Witnessing Chen Feng bathed in blood while slaying monsters unleashed her long, buried resolve, and the Emperor, rank Phoenix Fire had fully awakened. Without a doubt, Chen Feng was her true guide. Lu Ning twisted the edge of her clothing between her fingers and offered her awkward, yet sincere consolation. Also, please do not be too sad. I have read tales of heavenly treasures and rare healing elixirs in this world. There are also master healers with powerful restorative supernatural abilities. They can mend damaged innate powers and reverse the decline of natural talent. There is still hope for you to recover. Listening to her clumsy, heartfelt words of comfort, Chen Feng gave a bright laugh. Hey, it's fine. I'm not upset at all. Great, another person who got the wrong idea. Tomorrow I will show her a little of what I can do and blow her mind, he thought. He waved casually and prepared to head home. But to Lu Ning, his nonchalant demeanor was nothing more than him forcing a brave face all by himself. Watching his lonely back, she clenched her fists, overwhelmed by a sense of helplessness. Somehow, a burning conviction took firm root in her heart. The evening wind swept across the street, and the sunset stretched the girl's shadow long across the ground. Staring at Chen Feng's retreating figure, she summoned all her courage and shouted at the top of her lungs. Chen Feng, I will repay you. I absolutely will repay you. I will train my hardest from now on. I will earn piles and piles of money and buy you the finest restorative elixirs in the whole world. I will grow incredibly strong and find you the greatest healing masters alive. Next time, I will be the one to protect you. I will be the one to save you. So please wait for me to grow stronger. Please hold on and never give up on yourself. Chen Feng did not turn around. He merely lifted his right hand high and waved it in a free and easy, indifferent gesture. Lu Ning finished shouting out every thought in her heart and stood frozen in place. A few seconds passed before she came to her senses. Her cheeks flushed bright red. Good grief, what on earth was I just yelling? Shortly after parting with Lu Ning, Chen Feng set off for pharmacies and hardware stores. He pushed the day's events from his mind. Gaining more supernatural power points and death essence was his real priority. To that end, he planned to stock up on various dangerous challenge supplies. Right now, Chen Feng was shopping in an agricultural supply store. Shopkeeper, give me a bottle of strong agricultural insecticide. Coming right up, the shopkeeper replied and went to fetch the bottle from the shelf. Chen Feng spotted a bag of drinking straws on the counter and asked, Can I take one of these straws? Sure thing, the shopkeeper answered casually. But then his expression shifted abruptly. Wait a second, he spun around nervously. Young man, what do you want a straw for? You are not planning to hurt yourself, are you? Chen Feng waved his hand with a grin. No, you misunderstand. The straw is for drinking beverages. He told small convenient lies now and then. Oh, okay. The shopkeeper hesitated as he handed over the insecticide bottle. Please do not do anything reckless. No problem. Chen Feng asked again. Say, do you have paraquat, zinc phosphide, sodium fluoroacetate, bromadiolone, things like that in stock? The shopkeeper grew alarmed. Young man, those are all prohibited for sale. Chen Feng thought for a moment. All right, then what about Silatrane, concentrated pest, control stock solution, high strength carbofuran emulsifiable concentrate? Give me every product in your shop with maximum potency and fast acting effects. Sweat beaded on the shopkeeper's forehead. Young man, tell me the truth. What are you buying these extremely toxic substances for? And I have been meaning to ask, what are those two things you are carrying in your hands? What is all that stuff peeking out of your bag behind you? Pest extermination, Chen Feng answered plainly. In his left hand, he held a large machete, in his right a chainsaw. Behind him hung a big duffel bag. The outlines of several items poked through its gaps. The shopkeeper could make out an axe, a drill, a claw hammer, thick rope, and more. This was not gear for a high school student. It looked like a full set of hazardous equipment. The shopkeeper's legs trembled, his voice shaking badly. No, kid. Are you going to hurt people? I cannot sell agricultural poisons to you if you intend mischief. Come on, shopkeeper. Chen Feng looked completely calm. I am just a high school student. Would I break the law? All this gear really is for pest control. You call pest control with a chainsaw? The shopkeeper blurted out anxiously. Chen Feng sighed and spoke earnestly. Fine, I will level with you. I have spotted traces of magical beasts out in the wild. I am just gearing up to hunt them. How do I know you are really hunting magical beasts? The shopkeeper remained skeptical. Maybe this will convince you. Chen Feng raised his palm toward the curtain at the back of the shop. Boom. A sharp burst of energy tore straight through the curtain, punching a clean hole all the way through. The shopkeeper heaved a huge sigh of relief, his fears fading away. So you are a supernatural warrior. You mean to hunt magical beasts for magic crystals? Exactly. Better safe than sorry with plenty of tools. Chen Feng smiled casually. All right. I will sell everything to you. I have quite a few high-potency products back here. Fully reassured, the shopkeeper worked quickly to pack the goods. Chen Feng stuffed all the poisons and tools into his large duffel bag and walked straight out of the agricultural supply shop. Plummeting from heights, deep lacerations, hanging impacts, heavy blunt blows, drill piercings, on his way home, all kinds of extreme scenarios raced through Chen Feng's mind. Each could earn him death essence and unlock brand new supernatural abilities. But thinking so many ideas gave him mental fatigue. He pulled out his phone. Dobao, list 100 different ways people can experience near-death conditions. Sorry, your request involves prohibited content. I cannot assist you. Chen Feng paused and tried again. Dobao, list 100 methods for slaughtering hogs. Sorry, your request concerns animal cruelty. I cannot answer. Chen Feng fell silent for 2 seconds. Useless bot. He put his phone away. Never mind. He would just test every risky method he could think of. Carrying his bulging bags, Chen Feng soon arrived home. He unlocked the door, and the cold, quiet living room met his eyes. 5 years earlier, his parents had died while on official duty. The big house belonged only to him now. Technically, his uncle was his legal guardian, yet the man was almost never around and paid him no attention whatsoever. Fortunately, his parents had left survivor benefits, though by now most of the money had been spent. Chasing dangerous near-death experiences cost a great deal. Rock climbing, paragliding, wilderness expeditions, extreme challenges, plus frequent hospital treatment for injuries. Every single activity ran up expenses. Still, living alone had its perks. No one watched over him, so he could push himself to the limit as much as he liked. Without delay, Chen Feng fastened thick hemp rope to the ceiling beam in the living room. He looked at the dangling loop of rope with satisfaction. Let me start with this hanging challenge. He slipped the loop around his neck and swung from it. He possessed the Iron Neck's supernatural power, but he could actively turn it off, so it would not interfere with his risk-taking. 8 minutes later. Your life hangs in the balance. Death Essence +5. Unlocked Beginner. Ranks Supernatural Power. Breath Holding. You can hold your breath continuously for 12 hours without breathing. Chen Feng tested the rope swing challenge a second time. Your life hangs in the balance. Death Essence +5. Repeated risk scenario. No new supernatural power granted. Sure enough, repeating the same risk gives no new ability, but I can keep farming Death Essence. The system panel had warned him of this already, yet Chen Feng still felt a little disappointed. Next, he took a plastic bag and pulled it over his head, completely sealing off his air supply. Your life falls into stillness. Death Essence +9. Unlocked Beginner. Ranks Supernatural Power. Silent Spell. Shout, silence, and other people's throats will be rendered unable to produce sound. Excellent. Chen Feng was thrilled. Hanging and suffocating inside a plastic bag were both oxygen deprivation events, yet they unlocked different abilities. That meant even when the root cause of risk was similar, slight differences in how the danger unfolded would count as distinct scenarios for the system and unlock more supernatural powers. To confirm his theory, Chen Feng climbed up to the rooftop of his apartment complex. He glanced down, made certain no one stood below, and jumped straight off. King descends from the sky. Thud. Your life strikes hard against the ground. Death Essence +6. Unlocked Beginner. Ranks Supernatural Power. Crow Dive. Spread your arms to soar upward 5 meters into the air and plummet toward your chosen target. Chen Feng got back to his feet and laughed. Just as I suspected. He had already fallen from great heights twice that day. The first time an eagle-type magical beast had dropped him. This time, he threw himself onto concrete. The system treated them as separate events. His reasoning was proven correct. Different dangerous scenarios unlocked brand new abilities. Delighted, he headed back indoors and drank down all the agricultural poisons he had just bought. Treat myself to some special drinks. Your life is scorched away. Death Essence +13. Unlocked Intermediate. Ranks Supernatural Power. Wither Touch. Your saliva, blood, and sweat cause all plant life to wither rapidly on contact. Shortly after reviving, Chen Feng subjected himself to burning heat exposure. Your life is tempered in flame. Death Essence +19. Unlocked Intermediate. Ranks Supernatural Power. Flame Armor. Coat your body in burning fire instantly. Your close-range attacks gain fire enhancement. After that, he jumped into the river. Your life drifts with the current. Death Essence +14. Unlocked Beginner. Ranks Supernatural Power. Aquatic Respiration. You can breathe underwater. Gaining more Death Essence and supernatural abilities fueled his excitement. He kept testing one risky scenario after another. Sharp blade cuts to the neck, axe blows to the head, drill piercing to the chest, and more. Before long, he had gained over a dozen additional powers. Finally, he returned to his bedroom and opened his system panel contentedly. Rank. Tier 1 Early Stage Warlock Beginner. Rank Supernatural Powers 32. Breath Holding, Silent Spell, Crow Dive, Piercing Force, Feather Fall, Blood Coagulation, Berserker Charge, Aquatic Respiration, Sharp Claws, Heart Displacement, Horn Bash, Iron Neck, Pain Diminishment. Intermediate. Rank supernatural powers 6. Superior self, healing, binding breaker, impact reversal, vigor surge, wither touch, flame armor, death essence, 242. Whoa. So many powers. Chen Feng's eyes lit up. Most people spent their whole lives with only one innate supernatural power. He now wielded 32 beginner, rank abilities plus 6 intermediate, rank 1s. To everyone else, this was complete, overwhelming superiority. Right? I can spend death essence to upgrade and strengthen my powers. Chen Feng remembered this function and focused his mind on the death essence value on his panel to enhance a skill. He picked pain diminishment first, the ability he used most often. Death essence, 100. Pain diminishment beginner, rank agony suppression intermediate. Rank. Chen Feng tapped the skill description on the panel. Agony suppression. All forms of suffering you endure are greatly reduced, including but not limited to searing pain, suffocation, vertigo, choking distress, mental anguish. Reading the effect, he thought it was an amazing investment. Drowning and rope hanging had inflicted suffocating distress that ordinary pain reduction could not handle. Now with agony suppression, he could pursue dangerous challenges far more freely. Without hesitation, he poured all his remaining death essence into raising his cultivation rank. Death essence, 100 tier, 1 early, stage tier, 2 early, stage remaining death essence, 42. A surge of abundant supernatural energy coursed through his body. Once he reached tier 10, he would break through to the intermediate realm. Status, point allocation really is awesome. Chen Feng turned his attention to the 15 magic crystals he had harvested from slaying monsters that day. For were intermediate, grade, 11 were beginner, grade. Warlocks could cultivate quickly by absorbing magic crystals, yet this method was not mainstream. Magic crystals contained cosmic energy mixed with violent demonic aura that easily corrupted the human body. An ordinary tier 1 warlock could absorb at most 3 beginner, grade magic crystals per week. Exceeding that limit would overwhelm them. Chen Feng had no such worries. If he dared face near death dangers, why fear a little demonic corruption? He wasted no time and swallowed all 11 beginner, grade magic crystals in one go. Gurgle. Massive energy exploded inside him. Pitch black demonic aura raced through his meridians and spread across every inch of his skin. Chen Feng clicked his tongue. Whoa, that hits really hard. Thanks to his newly upgraded agony suppression, he felt only a faint tingling sensation, no sharp torment whatsoever. A regular warlock would already be screaming in agony. Seconds later his limbs stiffened, and his body convulsed violently. You perish from demonic aura corruption. Death essence plus 15. Unlocked intermediate. Rank supernatural power. Demon mist. Release a cloud of demonic mist. Anyone who inhales it will gradually grow stiff, bodied, and mentally weakened. Huff. Chen Feng revived instantly and checked his cultivation panel, his eyes blazing with delight. Tier 3 early stage warlock. The energy from the magic crystals had been fully absorbed by his body. So everyone else has to grind away at training to level up, but I can just buy magic crystals and power, level fast. Chen Feng thought in excitement. But when he checked his bank account balance, he immediately dropped the idea. Only over 3,000 yuan remained of the savings his parents had left him, nowhere near enough to buy many magic crystals. Looks like I need to find a way to earn money. Before that, I should raise my rank a little more. Filled with determination, Chen Feng grabbed a mid-tier magic crystal and swallowed it whole. This time, however, something was wrong with his body. Violent energy and gas surged wildly through every part of him. In just 2 seconds, his abdominal cavity began to swell. His stomach ballooned like an inflating ball, growing bigger and bigger with no way to stop it. Chen Feng's pupils shrank. Wait. The next second, boom, a deafening crash rang out. His physical body was blown apart by the raging demonic energy, flesh and blood splattering everywhere. You have died from demonic energy detonation. Death points plus 55. Unlocked high tier ability, energy detonation. You may forcibly gather heterogeneous energy inside another person's body and trigger an explosion. This ability drains large amounts of the target's heterogeneous energy, severely damaging their meridians and making it hard for them to use their abilities. Cultivation, 4th, ring initial stage. After respawning, Chen Feng grinned. A high-tier ability. This was the first time he had unlocked a high-tier ability. What was more, dying this once had earned him more than 55 death points, quite a substantial amount. Without further hesitation, Chen Feng swallowed 3 mid-tier magic crystals one after another in 3 separate attempts. His body exploded 3 times in succession, and his cultivation successfully advanced to the 5th ring initial stage. Glancing at his status panel again, he saw his death points had climbed to 277. That's enough for today. Chen Feng chose not to spend any points for now, deciding to keep his death points in reserve for emergencies. He tidied up his house briefly and muttered to himself, I've unlocked so many abilities. If only I had an opponent to test them on. The instant his voice faded, rapid knocks sounded at the door. Thud, thud, thud. Who is it? Chen Feng asked casually as he slowly walked toward the door. He turned the handle and pulled it open. A gaunt, unfamiliar man stood outside. Confusion showed in Chen Feng's eyes. Who are you? He was certain he had never seen this person before. In the next moment, the thin man's wrist transformed into a pitch black spear, which stabbed through Chen Feng's chest without warning. Uft! The demonic spear pierced straight through his heart, and blood gushed out. Hello there. Fangs slowly showed on the thin man's face. I am a demon soldier under the 100-eyed demon marquis, sent specifically to take your life. Chen Feng glanced down at the spear running through his chest, then looked up at the demon soldier. Oh, your heart has been pierced. Death points +7. Unlocked low tier ability, angina. When touching an enemy's chest, inflict 3 full minutes of searing chest pain upon them. Squelch. Chen Feng pulled the demonic spear free with one hand. His chest healed instantly, not a trace of injury left. He looked up at the demon soldier and smiled. Come on in. The thin man froze and instinctively stepped back 2 paces. What is wrong with you? Let's talk inside. We don't want the neighbors to see, Chen Feng said, still smiling. The thin man snarled. You must be joking. Before he finished speaking, both his arms morphed into demonic spears and stabbed forward at high speed. Thud. Both spears drove straight through Chen Feng's forehead. Your forehead has been pierced. Death points +5. Unlocked low tier ability, mental pierce. Unleash a mental attack to give the target crippling headaches and soul-searing pain. Flesh splashed, and hideous bloody holes gaped on his head. Huh, that ought to finish you off. The thin man's eyes blazed with malice as he wrenched both spears free. Yet in the next instant, the wounds on Chen Feng's head mended rapidly, good as new in the blink of an eye. At the sight, the thin man stood rigid where he was. Chen Feng smiled with satisfaction. Not bad technique, though you seem hard of hearing. Since you won't come in nicely, I'll have to bring you in by force. With that, Chen Feng locked eyes with him. Mental pierce. In an instant, countless steel, needle-like pains stabbed into the thin man's brain. Chen Feng pressed his palm against the man's chest at the same time. Angina. Aya. The thin man convulsed in agony, screaming aloud. Chen Feng seized him by the neck, dragged him inside, and slammed the door shut behind them. Glancing over the living room, he muttered, Can't make a mess in here. He dragged the thrashing thin man straight toward the bathroom. Let go. Let go. The thin man writhed desperately through the pain. Chen Feng frowned slightly. Why do you have to be so uncooperative? He activated surging viscera. His physical strength multiplied several times over. He threw a heavy punch squarely into the thin man's chest. Boom. The thin man's abdomen took massive damage, and dark demonic blood poured from his mouth. Cough, cough, cough. His breathing turned ragged as he coughed violently. Chen Feng dragged his limp body into the bathroom and flung him hard. The thin man crashed into the bathtub. Then Chen Feng started taking off his clothes. The thin man stared in shock, his voice trembling. Wait, what are you doing? What on earth are you doing? Chen Feng shot him a glare. Quit yelling. Quit your screaming. Shut up. Silence curse activated at once. The thin man's throat tightened, and he could not utter a single sound. His eyes went wide with terror, and his whole body shook uncontrollably. Chen Feng laid his folded clothes outside the bathroom. The next moment, flames erupted all over his body, engulfing him entirely. He had taken off his clothes beforehand to keep them from burning. With surging viscera stacked with flame armor, Chen Feng felt brimming with overwhelming power. He clenched his fists and grinned. I feel incredibly strong right now. He lifted the silence curse and asked, All right, tell me, what is your rank? The thin man swallowed hard. Mid-tier 6th, ring mid-stage. Interest flickered in Chen Feng's eyes. Nice. A 6th, ring mid-stage should be quite durable. Fight me with everything you have. You. The thin man could summon no will to fight at all. Chen Feng bounced on his heels, fists raised. Come on. Fight. Today either you die or I do. The thin man's face drained of all color. What is this guy talking about? You are the one who cannot die. How shameless can you get? Seeing his opponent refuse to move, Chen Feng warned. If you keep resisting nothing, you die right now. Pushed into a corner, the thin man snarled through gritted teeth. I'll fight you, damn it. His arms turned back into demonic spears. Black scales spread across his skin as he revealed his true demon form. Great! Chen Feng charged straight forward. Surging Viscera plus Flame Armor plus Ox Horn plus Iron Skull plus Iron Neck plus Berserk Charge. Boom! Massive force wrapped in fire slammed into the thin man, pinning him hard against the wall. Cracks spiderwebbed across the wall. The thin man's abdomen was pierced, and most of his demonic scales shattered. Ugh! His eyes rolled back, stripped of all capacity to resist. Chen Feng laughed excitedly and unleashed a flurry of follow-up punches. Boom, 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 boom. Left fist heavy damage, right fist heavy damage. Each blow also carried burning fire damage. Dull, crashing impacts and grunts echoed through the small bathroom. While landing strikes, Chen Feng tested Crow Air Assault, Energy Detonation, and other abilities, using the Demon Soldier as a perfect punching bag. For the next 3 minutes, the thin man took blow after blow without any chance to counterattack. Only when Chen Feng's heterogeneous energy was completely exhausted did he drive his claw into his temple to fully refresh his status. He walked out of the bathroom and got dressed, smiling. Even without trading injuries for power, I can easily overpower a mid-tier demon now. I reached this level in merely half a day, and that proves one thing. Cultivation gained through regular practice is hollow and unreliable. Power obtained through system-aided point allocation has rock, solid foundations, and unmatched combat strength. Therefore, honest practice is the wrong path. Dying to earn points is the true way forward. Having reached this realization, Chen Feng felt a great weight lift from his heart, confident about what lay ahead. Meanwhile, the thin man lay half dead in the bathtub, staring at Chen Feng with burning resentment in his eyes. Is he doing all this just to torment me? This is conduct worthy of demons. Outrageous. Chen Feng caught that look and asked, "What?" Not convinced. The thin man's scalp went cold at once, and he hastened to beg for mercy. No, I was staring at a fly." Chen Feng simply smiled. "Oh, you are dissatisfied, are you? Fine." He stepped out and soon returned carrying a cold, glinting machete, which he held out to the thin man. The thin man stared in bewilderment. Chen Feng bent forward and patted his own neck. "Go on, kill me." He had chanced upon a good test subject, perfect for unlocking more new death-based abilities. The thin man remained frozen. Yet after everything he had witnessed, he knew full well this human could not stay dead. He gripped the machete but dared not strike. Chen Feng frowned. "What's wrong? Won't you do it? I'll count to 3. He kept his neck exposed and began counting. 3, 2, 1. The countdown ended. The thin man still did not move, trembling with fright. Annoyed, Chen Feng stood up and slapped him hard across the face. "I gave you a chance and you blew it. You call yourself a demon and cannot even kill someone." Chen Feng scolded. The thin man completely broke down, begging repeatedly. I'm sorry. Chen Feng clicked his tongue. "Very well. Don't like the machete." He went out once more, returning moments later carrying a chainsaw. He pulled the starter cord. V. The chainsaw roared to life with a shrill whine. Holding the running chainsaw, Chen Feng looked terrifying. The thin man convulsed in terror. Stop. Don't. Spare me." But Chen Feng held the chainsaw out toward him. The thin man shook. What do you want?" "Take it," Chen Feng ordered. Shaking uncontrollably, the thin man took hold of the chainsaw. Chen Feng nodded with a smile. "This works far better than a machete, doesn't it?" He bent down again and stretched out his neck. "One last chance. Press this against my neck, and my life is yours. Go ahead, cut my head off. If you don't, I will cut you." The thin man's mind collapsed entirely. Madman. This human is a total madman, and absurdly powerful at that. Whoever issued this assassination mission must be an idiot. They are throwing demon lives away. Seeing he still hesitated, Chen Feng frowned and shouted, "Do it." The thin man flinched, then gritted his teeth. "Fine. I'll do it. The chainsaw came down. With a tearing whine, it severed Chen Feng's neck. Not satisfied with just decapitation, hatred flared in the thin man's eyes. He revved the chainsaw and cut wildly at Chen Feng's body. "Yeah, die. Just die." The chainsaw tore through flesh, filling the air with hideous grinding sounds. You have been dismembered by chainsaw. Death points plus 18. Unlocked mid-tier ability, chainsaw arms. Pull a cord on your chest to instantly transform both arms into high-speed spinning chainsaws. Is he dead? The thin man stared blankly at the scattered body parts on the floor. Pieces of flesh began to pull themselves together in the next instant, reforming into Chen Feng's shape. "Great, you can fight when you want to." Chen Feng spoke in a casual tone. Watching Chen Feng reassemble himself in under a second, the thin man sank into total despair. He could not win. There was no possible way he could win. Fighting this initial, stage human felt more hopeless than facing the 100-eyed demon Marquis himself. Chen Feng fetched a large tote bag and poured all sorts of tools out onto the floor. Clatter, clatter. Seeing the array of implements, the thin man shuddered. What are you going to do now? Try more ways to die, of course. Chen Feng gestured at the tools. Decapitation and dismemberment are old news. Use your imagination and think of creative new ways for me to die. I trust you can come up with better ideas. A word of warning. The moment you run out of new ways for me to die is the moment you die. Near tears, the thin man picked up a machete. I understand. 1 hour later, pale-faced, the thin man stared at the litter of weapons. Isn't this getting a bit too gory? A demon who lived for killing. He was now unnerved by the range of fatal scenarios Chen Feng wanted to test. Meanwhile, Chen Feng happily sliced open his wrist, trying to bleed out. His pain reduction effect worked wonderfully. All these lethal procedures barely hurt at all. They felt more like a strange tingle. In just 1 hour, he had earned more than 100 extra death points and unlocked over 20 new abilities, and he was in excellent spirits. He glanced at the stunned thin man and urged him on. Keep thinking. If you have no fresh ideas by the time I bleed out, you are finished. I know, the thin man answered, on the verge of tears. Just then, knocks rang on the front door. Another demon. Chen Feng's eyes lit up. He lived alone. Hardly anyone ever visited. Odds were it was more demon assassins. Trapped in the bathroom, the demon soldier's eyes lit up with a flicker of hope for survival. Chen Feng hurried out of the bathroom, putting on a warm smile. Let's see who it is. When he opened the door, he found Lu Ning standing outside. Chen Feng blinked in surprise. Huh? What are you doing here? Lu Ning looked at him with obvious worry and spoke softly. I just came to check on you. I was afraid you might do something reckless. Chen Feng quickly hid his wounded wrist behind his back and tried to sound calm. What are you talking about? I would never do that. Lu Ning let out a small breath of relief. I'm glad you're all right. Her gaze drifted across the living room, and her expression froze. A thick rope hung in the middle of the room, tied into a noose. She stared at it. What is that rope for? Panic flitted across Chen Feng's face. Misunderstanding. Total misunderstanding. It's for swinging. Definitely not for hanging myself. Lu Ning's eyes moved to several bottles of pesticide sitting on the table. And what about those? Chen Feng scrambled for an excuse. Rat poison. We've got a huge rat in the house. A really enormous one. Then she spotted his wrist, her voice trembling. What about that? Are you cutting your wrist? Chen Feng saw the fresh cut on his wrist he had made for the bleeding out test. His eyes darted away. No. I'm just practicing fancy knife cuts, the trend online. Lu Ning's heart ached. She did not believe a word of it. Her eyes welled up, and she pleaded softly. Chen Feng, please don't die. I know it hurts to lose your natal source, but your life is worth far more than that. Chen Feng felt a headache coming on. He was completely misunderstood. Very well, I'll tell you the truth. Chen Feng cleared his throat and made up another explanation. I was actually testing abilities. I have powerful regeneration, remember? I was testing how fast I can heal. He held out his wrist and activated Super Self, healing. This mid-tier ability had been unlocked fighting monsters earlier, perfect for covering up his current predicament. It was not as fast as dying to reset his whole body, but it worked well for minor wounds while alive. The gash on his wrist slowly closed, fully healed after roughly 10 seconds. Lu Ning looked doubtful. Has your natal source burnout not run its course yet? That's right, Chen Feng said with a straight face. Lu Ning relaxed. Thank goodness you are not actually trying to hurt yourself. Still, she warned him earnestly. Even so, you cannot keep doing this. What if the burnout ends mid-test? You could really die. Chen Feng nodded hastily. I get it. I won't do it again. But Lu Ning was still deeply anxious. She looked firmly at him. No, I am staying tonight to watch over you. I cannot let you keep doing dangerous things. Chen Feng wanted to turn her down, but meeting Lu Ning's gaze, he sighed at last. Very well. After all, she had come purely out of concern for him. He also knew Lu Ning's personality well. If he acted too strangely, she might well call the Suicide Prevention Committee straight away, and that would only make things far more complicated. Wait for me a moment. I've got something unfinished indoors. With that, he shut the door, spun around, and hurried quickly toward the bathroom. Inside the bathroom, the demon stared at him nervously. Without a word, Chen Feng activated Surging Viscera, strode forward, and locked his hands around the demon's neck. The demon was instantly choked, thrashing its limbs in terror. Ugh, What are you doing? It had still been hoping fellow clansmen would come to its rescue. Why had this human suddenly turned murderous? Who exactly was the visitor outside? Shoo, keep quiet. Chen Feng held its neck tight, his tone calm. Dizziness is normal. Try to breathe. Oh right, you can't breathe. Just accept you're in quickly. Gurk. The demon's eyes rolled back. It soon passed out from suffocation and stopped moving entirely. After confirming the demon was dead, Chen Feng was at a loss over how to dispose of the body. He pulled out his phone at once. Dobao, how can I dispose of a corpse in a short time and leave no traces? I cannot answer this question, as it involves prohibited content. Chen Feng scratched his head and rephrased the question. Dobao, I have a 120 gene livestock here. How should I dispose of it thoroughly without leaving any traces? I cannot answer this question, as it involves prohibited content. Damn it! Chen Feng cursed and locked his phone. Just then, Lu Ning's voice urged him from outside. Chen Feng, are you done yet? Almost. Just a second. Chen Feng glanced at the body on the floor. He quickly fetched a large sack, stuffed the body inside, and dragged it under his bed. This will have to tide me over for now, he muttered quietly. He hurried to open the door for Lu Ning. Come on in. Lu Ning stepped inside, a flicker of confusion on her face. What were you busy with just now? Nothing much, just some personal business. Chen Feng spoke with a composed expression. It would be troublesome if Lu Ning discovered the demon's corpse, so he would keep it hidden for the time being. All right. Lu Ning did not press further. She looked around the cluttered living room. Your place is such a mess. She walked forward of her own accord and began tidying tables and scattered belongings. Hey, you don't have to do that. There's no need to clean up. I'm helping you sort things out. Living in a messy room weighs on your mood. A tidy space makes you feel better. You really don't need to go out of your way for this. Chen Feng cleared his throat. Compared with everything you've done for me, this is nothing. Lu Ning replied softly as she worked efficiently. Her movements were quick and neat, clearly someone who handled housework often. Chen Feng did not stop her again. Very well, thank you for your trouble. After tidying for a while, Lu Ning suddenly looked up. By the way, have you had dinner? Chen Feng shook his head frankly. Not yet. He had rushed home and spent all his time testing his abilities, leaving no time to eat. I haven't eaten either. Lu Ning's eyes lit up, and she suggested cheerfully. Let me cook for you. I'm a good cook. Chen Feng was somewhat surprised. Then I can help you prepare things. No need. Just sit and rest. I can manage on my own, Lu Ning said gently. With that, she wiped the table briefly, opened the refrigerator to pick out ingredients, and headed into the kitchen to get to work. Soft light filled the kitchen as Lu Ning tied on an apron and set about cooking skillfully. Wispy steam rose slowly, and the warmth of home cooking gradually filled the lonely apartment. Chen Feng stood in the living room, watching her busy figure for a moment before relaxing and sinking onto the sofa. It suddenly occurred to him that Lu Ning also lived alone all year round. He heard her parents were still alive, and he wondered why she lived by herself. He did not dwell on the thought, and picked up his phone to scroll. Time slipped by. In less than an hour, the rich aroma of food drifted through every corner of the flat. Lu Ning carried steaming dishes to the dining table, her eyes curved into smiles. Taste this. Chen Feng picked up his chopsticks and took a few bites. The flavor was savory and perfectly seasoned, far better than anything he could make himself. Lu Ning watched him expectantly. It's good, right? Chen Feng nodded repeatedly and gave her a thumbs up. Delighted, Lu Ning headed back to the kitchen and brought over flatbread and congee. She sat down and shared the meal with him. The dining table was quiet and warm. After a short while, Lu Ning spoke softly. Chen Feng, I've awakened my ability. It's an emperor, rank, origin talent, Phoenix Flame. Chen Feng continued eating. Impressive. Congratulations. Lu Ning lowered her voice. The guardians told me not to tell anyone. I'm sharing this secret only with you. Don't spread it around. Understood, understood. Chen Feng replied between mouthfuls. The guardians said a mage's potential ceiling is largely decided by the rank of their origin talent. I have an emperor, rank origin. If I survive the dangers along the way, I can grow into an emperor, rank mage without any bottlenecks. Chen Feng paused mid-bite, looking astonished. Is that really how it works? Lu Ning nodded firmly. Absolutely. Everything I said is true. I will grow strong and repay you properly. Chen Feng laughed helplessly. There's really no need for that. Lu Ning went on. The Guardian Bureau will give me special monthly stipends starting now. I'll get 30,000 each month. I'll give you 20,000 of it every time. Chen Feng's expression turned serious instantly. My bank account number is 427867. I also found out today, Lu Ning continued, that damaged origin talents need treatment as soon as possible. The period right after harm is sustained is the best window for recovery. If you take cultivation stabilizing elixir each month, you can stabilize your origin and stop it from fading further. The earlier you start taking the medicine, the better. It only costs 15,000 a month, and I can easily afford it. You have to keep taking it. Chen Feng said earnestly. All right, I'll do whatever you say. Lu Ning nodded happily. Great. Once you take the medicine for half a year and stabilize your foundation, I'll also have entered university. There are many top healing specialists at universities. I'll find a way to get to know them well and beg them to help repair your origin. If the university healers cannot fix it, I will train relentlessly and earn every coin I can to find even more powerful healers and buy the finest healing treasures. Chen Feng nodded solemnly. I'll trust your plans fully. Lu Ning brightened further and laid out their future sincerely. If your origin can never be fully repaired, I will support you for the rest of my life. Every coin I earn will be yours. I will buy you the finest mortal, great ability artifacts. Even without powers of your own, you can live safely and never be bullied. I also heard there is special equipment that lets ordinary humans wield power similar to ability users. It's quite costly, but I will get it once I grow stronger. When I have enough money, I can hire top bodyguards for you. And there's more. As Chen Feng listened to Lu Ning outlining all these plans, he chewed his flatbread and resolved inwardly. I'll be your most loyal follower from now on. After dinner, Lu Ning cleared the bowls and plates and washed them carefully at the sink. Once finished, she tidied up the messy living room again. Watching her back, Chen Feng thought to himself that it felt almost as if he had invited someone to look after the whole household. Time passed, and night arrived. Chen Feng had intended to let Lu Ning rest in the second bedroom, yet she insisted on laying bedding on the floor in his room. She said she needed to stay close to stop him doing anything reckless out of despair. Chen Feng could not persuade her otherwise and had no choice but to agree. But as Lu Ning spread out her bedding on the floor, Chen Feng suddenly remembered the demon's body hidden under the bed. If she glanced underneath in the middle of the night, everything would be exposed. He quickly tried to convince her. Why don't you sleep on the bed instead? No, I don't mind sleeping on the floor, Lu Ning insisted. Growing anxious, Chen Feng pressed on. There are rats in my flat. What if they crawl over you at night? You take the bed, and I'll sleep on the ground. Rats? We can just close the door tight, unless one is hiding under the bed. Her gaze drifted toward the bed base. She spotted the bulging large sack at once. What's inside that bag? Lu Ning leaned forward to peek under the bed, confused. Chen Feng's heart skipped a beat. No way, she found it. That's... Chen Feng scrambled to think of an excuse. Lu Ning stared at the human-shaped outline of the sack and muttered. The shape looks like a person, what's inside? She was about to unfasten the sack when Chen Feng blurted out in a panic. It's a mannequin. Pardon. Lu Ning froze completely. Chen Feng explained with a straight face. A life-size display mannequin. I bought it for storage and decoration when living alone. Okay, I get it. No need to explain further. Lu Ning's face flushed bright red, cutting him off quickly. She lost all desire to check the sack. Flustered, she adjusted her bedding and lay down awkwardly. Chen Feng climbed back onto the bed and cleared his throat. Let's sleep. He turned off the light straight away. Awkward silence filled the room. After a long pause, Lu Ning spoke barely above a whisper. Do you need to use it tonight? I can move to the living room if you want. Chen Feng blinked. Use what? The mannequin. I can go sleep in the living room to leave you space. Lu Ning's ears burned red. No, it's fine. Let's get to sleep. Chen Feng replied awkwardly. Lu Ning said nothing more. The two settled down to rest amid the strange, tense atmosphere. Early the next morning, neither of them mentioned the sack or the mannequin. Lu Ning got up as dawn broke, made breakfast for Chen Feng, and they headed to school together after eating. As they walked along the road, she could not stop worrying about his condition. How do you feel right now? Chen Feng waved casually. I truly don't feel any damage to my origin. Watch. He bit the tip of his finger without hesitation. He activated his super regeneration ability, and the wound on his fingertip healed rapidly. Lu Ning stared in surprise. Could origin overdraw really leave no permanent harm? Chen Feng said frankly. Yeah, I feel perfectly fine. Lu Ning looked hopeful. If that's truly the case, that would be wonderful. But I heard the after effects of origin overdraw can last up to 24 hours. If you remain unharmed this afternoon, it will prove you suffered no lasting damage. Chen Feng smiled faintly. We shall wait and see. With that, they walked side by side into the campus. The moment they stepped into the school square, Chen Feng sensed something odd. Every student around stared at him with strange eyes. Everyone looked at him with pity, as if watching a terminally ill person with little time left. Chen Feng scratched his head. What's going on now? Before he could figure it out, a girl hurried over. She held a bouquet of white daisies out to him, her voice choked with emotion. Hero, I'm one of the students you saved yesterday. Even if you don't have much time left, I will never forget your kindness. She fought back tears and ran away quickly. Chen Feng stood there dumbfounded. Huh? Lu Ning froze beside him, equally confused. Just then, dozens of student union members surged forward, pushing Lu Ning aside. The student council president stood at the front of the group and called out loudly. Everyone bow. 2 lines of student union members bowed deeply in unison toward Chen Feng. The president wore a solemn expression and spoke earnestly. Yesterday, you sacrificed your origin to repel the invading monster. We will forever remember this sacrifice. The school will record your deeds in the school history to be remembered by generations. As he finished speaking, the students on both sides shouted in unison. May the hero live on in our hearts. May our martyr never be forgotten. Bow once more. The group bowed deeply again. The president then pinned a large white corsage onto Chen Feng's collar. Hero, we will accompany you through your remaining days. Students will take turns bringing meals and nourishing tonics to you every day from now on. You can call the student union anytime if you need anything. Do not force yourself to hold on. Just accept our care. Chen Feng heard this and gritted his teeth. Wait, there's a huge misunderstanding here. Who said I'm dying? The president looked at him sympathetically. Hero, don't try to act strong. The whole school knows the truth. You pushed your origin to the limit to drive away the monster yesterday. Your power foundation is ruined, and your days are numbered, aren't they? Let all of us look after you for the time you have left. What nonsense. Chen Feng's face darkened. Origin overdraw was only supposed to strip him of his abilities. How did rumors turn into him being on his deathbed? Students passing by stopped to watch, their faces full of sorrow and sympathy. One student union member even pushed a wheelchair over with teary eyes. Hero, we know your body has deteriorated, and standing must be a struggle. You don't need to pretend you're all right. This wheelchair was bought with money collected by all student union members. Please sit down. We will take care of you until the very end. Get this thing away from me. Chen Feng swore and walked past the wheelchair quickly. What on earth was happening? When did it become public knowledge that he was paralyzed? When did everyone decide his life was about to end? What kind of gossip had spread overnight while he was away from school? Lu Ning hurried to catch up and thrust her phone toward him. Chen Feng, look. The campus forum is flooded with posts claiming you don't have long to live. Chen Feng took the phone and read through the posts to understand what had happened. Boarders had chatted and spread rumors after evening self-study. The first rumor was that Chen Feng had overdrawn his origin and would become an ordinary human. But as the gossip spread, the story twisted. People claimed his body was broken, that he would be permanently paralyzed and confined to medical support. Some even said he would fall into a vegetative state. Before long, the rumors evolved further, claiming he had a terminal illness and limited time to live. The power of hearsay among high school students was truly astonishing. In just one night, he had transformed from a promising mage into a disabled man counting down his final days. Chen Feng felt a throbbing headache. This misunderstanding surrounding origin overdraw was spiraling completely out of control. Students along the path stared at him sympathetically, and some secretly wiped away tears. He felt extremely uncomfortable under all those pitying gazes. I'm heading straight to the campus radio station to set the record straight. Chen Feng ground his teeth. There was no paralysis, his body was perfectly fine. The claims about his impending death were entirely fabricated. He could also show everyone his intact ability to prove the story was wrong. With that thought, he strode angrily toward the campus radio station. As he reached the entrance, he ran straight into the principal standing outside. Chen Feng called out immediately. Principal, perfect timing. Could you help broadcast an announcement to clear up the miss? The principal cut him off. Chen Feng, you're just in time. Take this. It's a small donation collected by all the teaching staff. He held out a thick craft paper envelope. Chen Feng accepted it, confused. What's this? Open it and see for yourself. The principal smiled gently. Chen Feng tore open the envelope, and his eyes widened. 50,000. The principal explained. I started a fundraiser in the teachers group last night specifically for your recovery. Every teacher donated enthusiastically. The instructors from the ability class felt terrible after hearing what happened to your origin, and together they raised this 50,000. Chen Feng stared in shock. A misunderstanding about origin overdraw had earned him 50,000 yuan? The principal added. The teachers' donations are only the beginning. We will launch a school-wide student fundraiser this morning, so more money will be raised for you later. Also, rumors began circulating last night that you do not have long to live. I chose not to stop them for now. I thought people would be more willing to donate out of sympathy for a fallen hero. so I let the rumors spread. The principal finished speaking and looked at Chen Feng. Now, what were you going to tell me? Chen Feng's expression turned solemn at once. It's nothing, principal. You were right. My origin sustained damage from overdraw. Chen Feng continued. This donation means a great deal to me. I will accept it gratefully. Thank you sincerely. The principal patted his shoulder, relieved. I'm glad you can accept everyone's kindness. Chen Feng nodded earnestly. Let the misunderstandings and rumors continue for now. He would grab the donations first. He only had 3,000 yuan left in savings. He was practically broke. Pride did not matter anymore. He could play the part of the injured hero for the time being. Come to think of it, without the origin overdraw rumor, people would find it suspicious how powerful he had been the day after awakening his ability. The secret of the immortal system cannot be revealed. If others found out, he might be captured and locked away for research. Though he feared no death, the thought of being sealed or imprisoned troubled him greatly. Time to play the part of a disabled person. If he was going to act, he would commit fully to the role. And so, Chen Feng suddenly clutched his chest and groaned. Ugh, principal, I'm feeling terrible all of a sudden. Can I head to the infirmary? The principal waved kindly. Go on then, rest well. Chen Feng wasted no time and hurried straight to the infirmary. A convincing performance was key. The more realistic he acted, the more donations the students would give that afternoon. The infirmary was empty at the moment. An idea crossed his mind. He opened the medical kit and pulled out a large roll of medical bandages. He took off his outer clothes and wrapped the bandage layer upon layer around his body, leaving only his face exposed. He looked just like a mummy. Perfect. Chen Feng stared at his reflection in the mirror, satisfied with his appearance. Once he stepped out looking like this, donations would surely pour in. Just then, footsteps echoed outside, accompanied by conversation. Thank you for your trouble, student council members. I didn't expect you to bring a wheelchair all the way to the infirmary. It's nothing. This wheelchair was originally meant for Hero Chen Feng. But he seemed fine this morning, so we thought it would be a waste to leave it unused and decided to bring it here. Wonderful. Young students these days have such kind hearts. The student council president and the school physician pushed open the door, only to spot Chen Feng wrapped head to toe in bandages. The student council members and the physician froze on the spot. Chen Feng reacted instantly. His body began shaking violently, as if he had lost control. Ugh, ugh. His limbs twitched wildly before his body went limp with a heavy thud as he collapsed to the floor. Whoa, it's Chen Feng, our hero. The student council president rushed forward in a panic and lifted Chen Feng up. Hero, wake up. What happened to you all of a sudden? Chen Feng slowly opened his eyes, his voice weak and breathless. President, I'm sorry. I can't keep pretending any longer. Everything you saw this morning was an act. To tell you the truth, I forced myself to look normal this morning because I didn't want everyone to worry. But my body has already broken down. I started feeling weak all over last night. Now I can barely stand on my own. Also, my skin began oozing blood just now. I suppose the wounds I sustained fighting the magical beast yesterday split open again, which is why I wrapped myself in bandages. Sigh, you were right earlier. I shouldn't have pushed myself too hard. Tears welled up in the president's eyes. I understand. We all understand. Every teacher and student in this school will sympathize with you. Chen Feng forced a faint smile. I'm relieved everyone can understand. By the way, could I borrow that wheelchair for a while? The president nodded repeatedly and carefully helped Chen Feng settle into the wheelchair. Is it comfortable? Chen Feng looked grateful. It is. The student council has put a lot of thought into this. Would you like the physician to examine you? The president asked cautiously. Chen Feng waved his hand, his tone bleak. My time is running out. There's little left for me. No amount of treatment will change anything. I see, hero. The president replied quietly. Chen Feng let out a heavy cough and spoke again. May I ask a favor of you? The president straightened at once. Tell me anything. I will do everything I can to help. Chen Feng put on a sorrowful expression. Could you push me to tour the entire campus? The teaching buildings, the sports field, the gardens. I want to see them all. In my current state, I will never be able to walk around campus normally again. Before my time comes, I wish to take one last look at my alma mater and all the students. The president nodded firmly, his voice choked with emotion. I promise you. With that, he gripped the wheelchair handles and slowly pushed Chen Feng out of the infirmary. The other two student council members wiped their eyes and hurried alongside them. When Chen Feng, swathed in bandages and seated in the wheelchair, appeared in the campus square, every student stopped moving. All eyes turned toward him. A wave of grief washed over the onlookers. So the rumors are true. Chen Feng is injured badly and confined to a wheelchair now. He's wrapped in bandages from head to toe. It must be the backlash from overtaxing his life force. His condition is critical. The hero risked his life to defeat the demons yesterday. Ugh, does that mean our great hero doesn't have much time left? I heard there will be a donation drive for him later. I have to give generously to support him. Teachers and students watched on, their gazes filled with pity. Beneath the bandages, Chen Feng was grinning to himself. All this sympathy would soon turn into money in his pocket. Keep going, Chen Feng said in a mournful tone. The president nodded and continued pushing the wheelchair. Students passing by paused to stare. Some sighed quietly, others looked on with sorrow. Several pulled out their phones to take photos and post them on the school forum, writing tributes about the hero's tragic decline. Everyone looked at Chen Feng with compassion. Before long, the morning class bell rang. Students composed themselves and hurried back to their classrooms. Chen Feng showed no sign of wanting to return just yet. Can you push me into the teaching building? I want to catch one final glimpse of every student before it's too late. The president replied earnestly. Of course, I'll skip my morning classes to take you around. Thank you. I appreciate your trouble, Chen Feng said, feigning emotion. The president pushed the bandage, wrapped Chen Feng slowly into the teaching building. As they passed the first occupied classroom, Chen Feng spoke up. Can we stop outside the door for a moment? The president hesitated but brought the wheelchair to a halt. Chen Feng lifted his gaze and looked gently into the classroom. Students focused on their lessons noticed him by the doorway and stared in surprise. Chen Feng offered them a smile and gestured for the president to move on. Whispers quickly spread inside the classroom. Is that Chen Feng? The overtaxing of his life force is really taking its toll. I heard people saw him in a wheelchair earlier, but I never imagined he'd be this hurt. It's terrible what he's going through. The teacher at the podium cleared his throat. Quiet down and pay attention to the lesson. He then added, as for Chen Feng, keep his situation in mind. The school will organize a special donation drive later. Give whatever you can afford. Hearing this, the students grew even more moved. Over the next 2 periods, the president pushed Chen Feng past every single classroom. They paused outside each door and window. Chen Feng would offer a gentle smile before moving onward. After touring every classroom in the school, rumors were firmly confirmed. Chen Feng was gravely injured and did not have long to live. Chen Feng was overjoyed internally, certain he would earn a substantial sum from the donations. Just then, the dismissal bell rang loudly. The president was pushing Chen Feng past a classroom when a tall young man sprinted out and crashed straight into the side of the wheelchair. There was a dull thud. The wheelchair tipped sideways. Chen Feng inwardly cheered. He let the momentum roll him onto the ground. The second he landed, he slipped into full acting mode. Ugh, ugh. His eyes rolled back, and his body shook violently. He convulsed non-stop, a harrowing sight for everyone watching. Panic erupted among the students inside the classroom. They shouted angrily at the tall boy. Watch where you're going. Look what you've done to the hero. He's already severely injured, and you crashed into him. This is awful. His body can't take any more harm. The tall boy froze in terror. His legs nearly buckled. He grabbed Chen Feng tearfully. Hero, I'm so sorry. Please don't be hurt worse because of me. Chen Feng slowly stopped convulsing and spoke weakly. It's all right. It isn't your fault. I'm just too frail now. Even a small knock overwhelms me. With that, Chen Feng shakily struggled to his feet. I'm fine. I can manage. The president rushed forward and carefully helped him back into the wheelchair. The surrounding students watched, their hearts heavy with sympathy. He looked so miserable. All of this suffering came from sacrificing himself to protect everyone. The tall boy kept apologizing repeatedly. I'm truly sorry, hero. I'll never run through hallways again. Chen Feng patted his shoulder kindly. No need to blame yourself. If you still feel bad, you can donate more to the fundraising drive. I understand. The tall boy nodded firmly, committing the words to memory. Chen Feng smiled and told the president to continue moving forward. They had only walked a short distance when they heard the tall boy shout passionately inside the classroom behind them. Everyone, donate as much as you can. I'll give 50, 100 from me. I'm skipping meals this week. I'll donate 800. Listening to the enthusiastic voices behind him, Chen Feng struggled to hold back his grin. Thank you, President. You can push me back to the infirmary now, Chen Feng said softly. It's no trouble at all. Filled with sympathy, the president wheeled Chen Feng back to rest in the infirmary. Half a day slipped by quickly. Toward evening, shortly before school ended, the principal hurried into the infirmary. He stared in shock at Chen Feng wrapped entirely in bandages. Why have you covered yourself like this? Are the side effects this severe? It's nothing serious, Principal. I just feel a little unwell. I can endure it, Chen Feng replied weakly. The principal looked pained and sighed repeatedly. This is more than a little unwell. You've endured so much. Chen Feng coughed and cut straight to the point. Principal, has the donation money been tallied up? The principal nodded seriously. It's all calculated. There are 3,298 students in the school, and 3,219 made donations. The total comes to 158,600 yuan. You've set a new record for the highest donation amount in our school's history. Normally, students only give small sums, but this time many donated dozens or hundreds out of genuine care for you. A glint of excitement flashed in Chen Feng's eyes. The students are truly kind-hearted. The full amount will be transferred to your bank account tonight. Use it to care for yourself and recover from your injuries, the principal instructed. Thank you, principal, Chen Feng responded. With this money, he could buy plenty of magic crystals. Perhaps he would advance straight to mid-tier sorcerer. I'm a genius. Rest now. Someone will arrange transport to take you home. The principal turned to leave, but paused. I also heard rumors recently of a special medicine circulating on the black market that treats overtaxed life force. It cannot fully reverse the damage, but it can restore a damaged life force to low-tier or mid-tier standards. It even partially recovers your ability to cultivate. It's a glimmer of hope for those trapped in despair. Chen Feng's eyes lit up. Such medicine exists. I only heard talk of it. The price is astronomical, easily over 1 million, the principal sighed. If you hope to recover your talent, focus on healing and earn money. With over a decade of effort, you might afford it. At least you will have something to strive for. With that, the principal waved and left the infirmary. Chen Feng sank into thought. He had only pretended to be severely injured to raise donations. He could not keep up this act forever. If he suddenly displayed his abilities tomorrow, people would grow suspicious and might demand the donations be returned. An idea came to him. He could use the rumor of the special medicine as an explanation for his recovery. He possessed powerful self-healing abilities, which he could pass off as a weakened version of restored regeneration. Little by little, he could reveal his full strength and claim he had fully recovered thanks to the medicine. The plan was flawless. Just then, the student council president pushed the door open. Hero, let me take you home. Chen Feng wanted to walk home on his own, but the large donation had only just arrived. He needed to keep up the performance. He nodded weakly. I would appreciate your help. It's my honor to escort you home. The president pushed the wheelchair and led Chen Feng out of the infirmary. They had barely walked a short distance when a figure blocked their path. The young man had dyed blonde hair, a sturdy athletic build, and countless scars covering his bare arms. Zhang Wuan stepped forward with a rough grin and gripped the wheelchair handles. President, let me take our great hero home instead. The president looked wary. Zhang Wuan, don't cause trouble. He's badly injured right now. Zhang Wuan spoke casually. Relax. I wouldn't hurt him. I just want to talk to him privately. The president stood protectively in front of the wheelchair. No, I must take him home myself. Zhang Wuan's gaze hardened. You want to experience what it's like to be pressured? The president stiffened. Would you even bully the student council president? Zhang Wuan glared at him. Kid, I was intimidating dangerous troublemakers back when I was in 8th grade. Don't underestimate my resolve. The president was thoroughly intimidated. As tension hung thick in the air, Chen Feng spoke slowly. It's fine, President. He only wants to talk. You may head back first. The president remained worried and hesitated. Very well. If you don't show up at school tomorrow, I will call the police. He left with a heavy heart. Chen Feng lifted his gaze toward the young man. He knew who Zhang Wuan was. In fact, every student in school knew him. Zhang Wuan was the strongest student in Senior 3, Ability Class 2. Rumors said he began mixing with social circles in middle school and often roamed the city with a large group of followers. Though he calmed down a little entering high school, he remained restless. He became class leader in his first year, school's dominant figure in his second year, and even dared to challenge upper-classmen in the senior ability classes. He was someone all students feared. Chen Feng frowned. Why are you stopping me? Do you intend to pressure a disabled man? Zhang Wuan patted Chen Feng's shoulder. Don't be so tense. I'm not here to pick a fight. Then what do you want? Zhang Wuan began pushing the wheelchair forward and got straight to the point. Simply put, my father has taken an interest in you. What? Chen Feng stared at him in shock. You know the Zhang family is a martial arts clan, right? Zhang Wuan asked. Chen Feng shook his head. I don't. Let me explain. My family has practiced martial arts for generations. We can refine martial power and transform it into abilities. Zhang Wuan elaborated slowly. Our clan once produced an emperor-tier sorcerer at our peak. We were renowned back then. Now we have fallen on harder times. All we have left is a martial arts hall, and our strongest member is only a high Tier Sorcerer. My father has long hoped to cultivate another powerful warrior to restore our clan's glory. But the old man says I am not suitable. He plans to skip over physician, approve training, and focus on someone from the next generation instead. Chen Feng grew more confused. What does that have to do with me? Jiang Wuan stopped walking and looked at him seriously. So my father wants you to join our family through marriage. What on earth? Chen Feng was utterly stunned. Your life force ability is super regeneration, isn't it? Jiang Wuan continued. Our clan's ancient emperor, Tier ancestor, also possessed super regeneration. Those with super regeneration have extraordinary physical recovery. Practicing martial arts lets them endure constant bodily strain, break physical limits repeatedly, and unlock advanced martial abilities easily. This talent fits our clan perfectly. That's why my father has set his sights on you. Chen Feng quickly understood. You want me to marry into your family to bear children? He knew life force abilities could be inherited. A parent's ability stood a chance of passing down to their offspring. Even if damaged, the hereditary trait remained intact. Bear children sounds far too crude. You would formally marry my sister, Jiang Wuan corrected him. Chen Feng twitched his mouth. But inheritance depends heavily on the parent's tier. I'm someone who cannot cultivate right now. Any child would likely only inherit a weaker self. Healing ability rather than full super regeneration. Any healing, type life, force benefits our martial arts clan. Jiang Wuan insisted earnestly. Your foundation of super regeneration remains. If you have enough children, there is a chance one will inherit the complete ability. If you have 7, 8, even more children, one might just get super regeneration. Chen Feng looked astonished. She's your own sister. How can you suggest this? Jiang Wuan clapped Chen Feng's shoulder. That's not your concern. Will you join our family? Even in our current state, the Jiang family has considerable assets. You won't become wealthy beyond measure, but you can live comfortably without hardship. Chen Feng cleared his throat. I decline. I have no intention of marrying into another family. Truthfully, he did not actually possess the super regeneration life force at all. He could not pass it down to any children. You're turning it down? Jiang Wuan halted the wheelchair. Chen Feng replied firmly. No interest whatsoever. Jiang Wuan raised an eyebrow. Why not meet my sister first before deciding? I said I'm not interested, and I mean it. Chen Feng refused again. Jiang Wuan pulled out his phone and opened a short video app. Watch this. It's a video my sister posted. She's really beautiful. Chen Feng watched with skepticism. In the video was a slim young woman with dyed blonde hair and tattoos covering her arms and legs. Her face was caked in thick, pale foundation, and she wore garish clothing, looking exactly like the stereotypical street youth. As the video played, she moved with practiced ease, raising her hands to pat her cheeks quickly from side to side. She then clapped her palms together, pulled them apart sharply, and held up both thumbs, performing a set of gestures that Chen Feng could not understand. While moving, she spoke. If you had a girlfriend like me, what time would you head home? Chen Feng stared at the screen, utterly confused. Jiang Wuan tilted his chin and said, well, taken with her. Chen Feng's mouth twitched. Sorry, she's really not my type. Oh, she doesn't charm you? All right, let's watch the next video. With that, Jiang Wuan scrolled down immediately. In this clip, the young woman wore a crop top exposing her midriff. She strode arrogantly down the road followed by a group of girls dressed just like her, with a bold backing track playing. See? My sister's got serious prestige. She's the leader of a whole crew of girls now. Jiang Wuan said proudly. I may have stepped away from that scene, but my sister still holds plenty of sway out there. Chen Feng was overwhelmed. No thanks, she really isn't my type. Besides, she looks pretty young, doesn't she? Jiang Wuan replied casually. Yeah, she's just started her first year of high school. Chen Feng looked shocked. You think someone that young should be thinking about family? So what? Jiang Wuan said matter-of-factly. My sister told me lots of people in their circle think it's fine to start a family early these days. Besides, if you start young, you can have more kids. She's aiming to have 10 before she turns 30. Chen Feng was stunned speechless by his warped outlook. Are you even human? Cut the chatter. Are you joining the Jiang family or not? Jiang Wuan's expression turned impatient. Chen Feng replied calmly. I already said I won't marry into your family. Jiang Wuan's face darkened instantly. You refuse to listen to friendly advice. Then I'll have to get tough with you. Chen Feng raised an eyebrow. What? Are you going to fight me? Jiang Wuan walked straight to the front of the wheelchair and shouted sharply, Get up. Chen Feng glanced at the bandages wrapped all over his body, then looked back at him. Are you sure about that? Do you think I won't hit you just because you're injured? Jiang Wuan clenched his fists. I don't bully the weak, nor do I fear the strong. That's my unyielding resolve. He pointed at Chen Feng and spoke sternly. Get out of that wheelchair right now. Chen Feng looked exasperated. Have you no shame? You want me to marry into your family, so what's the logic in attacking me? Do you think beating me will make me agree? Jiang Wuan snorted. I've spent years navigating these circles for a reason. Mark my words, fists can solve every problem. If someone won't obey, you just beat them until they do. Chen Feng shook his head helplessly. Sigh, very well. He couldn't just take a beating for nothing. Getting hurt wouldn't unlock any new ways to die. Just as Chen Feng rested his hands on the wheelchair armrests, ready to stand, a figure suddenly darted forward and blocked his path. It was a crew-cut man wearing a tracksuit. He frowned sharply at Jiang Wuan. What do you think you're doing? PE teacher. How did you get here? Jiang Wuan frowned slightly. Chen Feng glanced back and spotted the student council president hiding cautiously a short distance away. It seemed the president had called the teacher over. Even now, Jiang Wuan remained stubborn and called out to the teacher. Sir, step aside. Don't get in the way while I discipline another student. Cheng Jihu flew into a rage. Are you serious? You try to bully a student right in front of me. Jiang Wuan refused to back down. I'll say it one more time, sir. Don't stand in my way, or I'll fight you too. Cheng Jihu was shocked and furious. You dare attack a teacher? Jiang Wuan said earnestly. Yes. Don't underestimate my unyielding resolve. Cheng Jihu gritted his teeth. All those lessons I taught you were wasted. He pulled out his phone. I'm calling your parents right now. Jiang Wuan's eyes widened immediately. Wait. We can sort this out privately. Don't call them. Ignoring his protests, Cheng Jihu made the call. Hello, Master Jiang. Your son is causing trouble again. He's about to attack the school's hero. He listened briefly and nodded faintly. Understood. He held the phone out to Jiang Wuan. Here, talk to your father. Jiang Wuan glared at him fiercely before taking the phone. As soon as he held the receiver to his ear, a furious barrage of reprimands poured out from the other end. Jiang Wuan kept his head lowered, listening with obvious resentment. After a while, he hung up and handed the phone back to Cheng Jihu with a livid face. He jabbed a finger toward Chen Feng in the wheelchair and issued a threat. You got lucky today. I'll give you a few more days to think over marrying into my family. If you still refuse next time, I won't go easy on you. Chen Feng let out a laugh. Fine. I'll be waiting. Jiang Wuan let out a heavy snort and turned to stride away. Cheng Jihu shook his head, then looked toward Chen Feng. Don't worry. With your reputation around school, no one dares bully you. I don't know what trouble you have with Jiang Wuan, but try to avoid direct confrontations with him. That boy is extraordinarily strong. Even among high-rank warlocks, he's among the best fighters. The horde of magical beasts that forced you to overdraw your core power yesterday, he could take them on without pushing his body to the limit. So, steer clear of him if you can. Chen Feng muttered. Is he a high-rank warlock? The third-year students awakened their powers 2.5 years earlier than him, so it made sense some had reached high rank. Still, the thought stirred his interest. If that's the case, I'd love to test my skills against him. Hero, are you alright? The student council president stepped forward cautiously. I'm fine. You called the teacher, didn't you? Chen Feng smiled at him. The president was a decent person, willing to get help for him. Hee, I was afraid he'd bully you. The president scratched his head awkwardly. Chen Feng thought for a moment and asked, what about you? Aren't you scared he'll get revenge on you? The president smiled and explained. It's all right. He bullies others mainly to make stubborn people submit. I know how to read the room. If I bow my head and apologize right away, he rarely goes too far. At worst, he'll make you run errands for him for a few days, then leave you alone. I see. Chen Feng nodded thoughtfully. So this is his so-called unyielding resolve, proving his strength by intimidating others. It's getting late. Let me walk you home, the president offered. I'd appreciate that. Chen Feng thanked him politely. Chen Feng's home was not far away. Around 10 minutes later, the president dropped him off. They exchanged a few quick words, and Chen Feng sent him on his way. Once the door closed, Chen Feng stood up from the wheelchair and stretched his limbs. Phew, sitting all day has made my body stiff. After loosening up, he checked his phone. 158,600 yuan had arrived in his account. With the 50,000 yuan cash he already had, Chen Feng now held 200,000 yuan in total. Without hesitation, he opened a food delivery app and placed an order for mid-tier magic crystals. These crystals were the perfect way for him to level up and earn death essence quickly. Each mid-tier crystal cost 3,000 yuan, but Chen Feng gritted his teeth and ordered 50. Spending 150,000 yuan all at once stung, yet the chance to break through to a new realm made it well worth it. Dozens of minutes later, the delivery worker dropped off the heavy package at his door. Chen Feng grabbed it and shut the door. Staring at the bag full of magic crystals, he pulled one out and swallowed it immediately. Familiar violent demonic energy mixed with surging paranormal power rampaged throughout his body. Seconds later, boom. You have perished from demonic energy detonation. Death essence plus 55. This death method is repeated, no bonus ability gain. Awesome. Keep going. Right after reviving, Chen Feng grabbed a second crystal and swallowed it. After his body exploded once more, he consumed the third, fourth, fifth. After swallowing 40 crystals in succession, Chen Feng's realm surged rapidly, jumping all the way from initial tier 5 to initial tier 10. But after taking the remaining 10 crystals, his energy remained stuck at a threshold, unable to break past initial tier into mid-tier. I've hit a bottleneck. Chen Feng frowned slightly. Every paranormal practitioner encounters bottlenecks, tied to the grade of their core talent. For example, those with Imperial-grade core talents advance unimpeded all the way until approaching Imperial tier, facing no bottlenecks. Practitioners with low-grade core talents hit nearly insurmountable barriers when advancing from initial to mid-tier. It was the harsh reality for lower-tier warlocks. He hadn't expected to run into this obstacle so soon himself. Chen Feng murmured to himself. But bottlenecks are for those who train honestly. They follow the conventional path. I walk the righteous path of seeking death to allocate attribute points. That being the case, system, allocate points. As the words left his mouth, a notification appeared on his panel. Death Essence, 1000. Initial tier, 10 mid-tier 1. In an instant, pure, surging paranormal energy flooded his entire body. The meridians that channeled his abilities widened and stretched. His paranormal energy reserves expanded drastically, and his physical toughness improved alongside it. Chen Feng let out a comfortable sigh. After a moment, he sensed the changes within him and smirked. Bottlenecks. Those are obstacles only ordinary people face. I'm a genius. Geniuses have no bottlenecks. Elated after breaking through, Chen Feng practiced unleashing his abilities around the room. He could clearly feel his abundant paranormal energy reserves, enough to cast mid-tier abilities dozens of times in a row. Low-tier abilities carried practically no drain, free for him to use at will. He no longer needed to kill himself to reset his state after casting a few abilities like before. Chen Feng opened his panel to check his death essence, seeing 2,127 points remaining. His reckless consumption of magic crystals had earned him 2,750 death essence points. Combined with the 300 points he had saved earlier, minus the 1,000 spent to advance realms, the final balance matched perfectly. Should I upgrade another high-tier ability? The thought crossed Chen Feng's mind. After brief consideration, he poured Death Essence into Pain Dulling. Death Essence, 1000. Pain Dulling mid-tier pain, reversal high-tier. Effect, converts all physical agony you endure into intense euphoria. Additionally, all bodily pain suffered temporarily grants defensive enhancements. The more damage you take, the harder you become to injure. This ability is tailor-made for a tank, Chen Feng thought happily. Better still, it was a passive ability that consumed very little paranormal energy, immensely practical. He had roughly 1,000 points left. Chen Feng decided to hold on to them for emergencies. In high spirits, Chen Feng planned to cook dinner to reward himself, when knocks echoed at the door. Right after, Lu Ning's gentle voice drifted inside. Chen Feng, are you there? Not again. Chen Feng sighed quietly and quickly settled back into the wheelchair. He had pretended to be paralyzed all day at school. He couldn't blow his cover now. He wheeled himself over to the door and opened it, meeting Lu Ning's worried gaze. When Lu Ning saw his state, her expression tightened at once. How are you feeling right now? Chen Feng forced a relaxed smile. Haha, I'm fine, nothing serious. Lu Ning lowered her head. I'm sorry. I was supposed to look after you today, but the Guardians summoned me to the Guardian Bureau first thing this morning. I only just got back to school and heard you're injured and confined to a wheelchair. You aren't my personal caretaker. Don't blame yourself. Chen Feng comforted her. But Lu Ning lifted her eyes and looked at him earnestly. No, I promised I'd repay you properly. Even if you're hurt, I should take care of you. With that, she pushed the door open and stepped inside. Until you fully recover, I'll handle all your daily needs. Chen Feng felt helpless inside. There really was no need for that. He needed to find a suitable chance soon, and use the excuse of a special medicine to reveal he had recovered. You haven't eaten yet, I'm sure. Let me cook for you, Lu Ning said, heading straight for the kitchen. Inside the kitchen, the young woman set to work busily. Washing vegetables, chopping ingredients, stirring the pot. She moved methodically. Chen Feng watched her busy back and thought to himself, this feels almost like having a parent move in. Dozens of minutes later, rich cooking aromas drifted out of the kitchen. Lu Ning carried steaming dishes to the table. 2 meat dishes, 1 vegetable, and a soup, scrambled eggs with tomatoes, braised chicken drumsticks, fried greens, plus a bowl of rice and seaweed egg drop soup, a full home-cooked spread. Chen Feng looked at the appetizing meal and felt pleased. Above all else, he had been craving Lu Ning's cooking. Lu Ning pressed his hand away, picked up the rice bowl, and leaned toward him. Let me feed you. She scooped a spoonful of rice mixed with tomato and egg and held it to his lips. Open up, Chen Feng froze for a moment. That's right. Lu Ning brought the spoon to his mouth. Chen Feng chewed and swallowed instinctively. Soft rice mixed with savory flavors spread across his tongue, stirring a strange feeling in his chest. Another bite. Lu Ning continued feeding him patiently. Chen Feng hurried to speak. Wait, this isn't necessary. I can feed myself. Lu Ning's expression turned firm. I heard you've been aching all morning. Even light touches make you shudder. You shouldn't strain yourself. Chen Feng was amused and exasperated, leaving him no choice but to let her feed him. As spoon after spoon of food passed his lips, Lu Ning seemed to grow more comfortable with the task, even wearing a fond smile. Good boy, open wide. That's a good lad. Chen Feng's heart skipped a beat. Is she really starting to treat me like a child? Still, it wasn't exactly unpleasant. With this odd new feeling lingering, Chen Feng let her continue feeding him. He was eating peacefully when abrupt, heavy knocking erupted at the door, shattering the warm atmosphere inside. Lu Ning set down her chopsticks and stood. I'll go see who it is. But Chen Feng's expression sharpened, and he grabbed her wrist. Don't open it. What's wrong? Lu Ning asked in confusion. Chen Feng stared warily at the front door. Something was off. No one but Lu Ning would come looking for him at this hour. It was almost certainly another demon sent to kill him. Who's out there? Chen Feng called loudly toward the door. Silence followed. There was no reply at all. Chen Feng frowned, his vigilance growing stronger. Lu Ning sensed the danger too and gently pulled Chen Feng's wheelchair backward. The next instant, boom. The heavy security door caved inward under overwhelming force, splinters and frame fragments flying everywhere. A towering, unfamiliar man stood in the doorway. His skin looked ashen, and a violent aura rolled off his body. His cold gaze swept across the room before locking onto Chen Feng in the wheelchair. It's you, isn't it? A thin man came here yesterday. Have you seen him? Chen Feng replied flatly. I haven't. The man said, very well. Then you have to die. At that moment, Lu Ning stepped in front of Chen Feng. Swirls of vivid, multicolored flame rose from her shoulders, reshaping into a firebird. She stared firmly at the man. Leave this place. Chen Feng was startled and called out quickly. Lu Ning, don't get involved in this. But Lu Ning wrapped one hand around Chen Feng's wrist. I told you. Next time it will be me protecting you. Meanwhile, the stone-armored demon laughed. A mere young girl dares stand in my way? You're asking for death. As he spoke, demonic energy surged around him. Rocks spread rapidly across his skin, forming thick stone armor, and an overwhelming pressure washed over the room. Lu Ning trembled slightly, yet remained standing before Chen Feng. You're a demon. The stone-armored demon bared his teeth in a grin. Ha ha ha, that's right. If you want to throw your life away, you can die alongside this boy. Determination flashed in Lu Ning's eyes. Don't force me to overdraw my core talent and perish alongside you. The stone-armored demon paused for a split second, then sneered in mockery. An emperor-grade core talent? That sounds intimidating. Go ahead and activate the overdraft, then. Stop putting on an act. Lu Ning's fingertips shook as she gritted her teeth. Very well. In an instant, brilliant multicolored flames rose around her. Luminous fire swirled over her body, and her power slowly climbed. Chen Feng's eyes widened. Stop. Don't do it. The stone-armored demon looked shaken but refused to retreat. You actually have some power. Go on then, unleash it. Don't pretend. Lu Ning's gaze turned resolute, fully ready to fight to the death. All right, damn it. Chen Feng snapped his attention to the stone-armored demon and clenched his right hand in the air. Hi. Tier ability, paranormal energy detonation. In the blink of an eye, the paranormal energy inside the stone-armored demon spiraled out of control, converging on his heart before exploding violently. Bang! The solid stone armor fractured piece by piece and crumbled away. Agony tore through the stone-armored demon's chest. He stared in disbelief. What just happened? He tried to channel his power to reform his stone armor, only to feel his chest meridians crippled, leaving him unable to harness his paranormal energy properly. If he wanted to reform his stone armor again, it would take at least 3 minutes. For those 3 minutes, he would be as defenseless as an ordinary human. He stared at Lu Ning in terror. Who was it? Was it this person? Then Chen Feng, standing behind Lu Ning, shot him another vicious glare. Mental piercing. Arg. In an instant, the stone armor demon felt as though countless needles were stabbing his brain. The searing agony blurred his vision. It was at this moment he realized the two people in this room were far from ordinary. Overwhelming fear washed over him. Not daring to utter any threats, the stone armor demon spun around and fled in a panic. Chen Feng let out a breath of relief. Thankfully he had acted in time. If Lu Ning had activated her life source overdraw, all her hard-earned awakening would have been wasted. Meanwhile, the multicolored flames swirling around Lu Ning slowly receded, returning her to her usual appearance. She stared blankly at the empty corridor outside the door. Did I really scare the demon away? Chen Feng snapped back to his senses. Absolutely. Seems these demons know when to back off. They fled the second they sensed you were about to unleash life, source overdraw. Lu Ning's eyes lit up. She raised her hands excitedly. It's true. I chased the demon away. I even protected you. That's right. You were amazing. Chen Feng nodded rapidly and gave her a thumbs up. No one handles a crisis like you, Lu Ning. Incredible. Look how terrified that demon was. Chen Feng kept showering her with praise, and Lu Ning's face broke into a bright smile. Once her excitement faded, she frowned. But why would a demon come here? Chen Feng quickly came up with an excuse. I'm not sure. I've heard rifts have been popping up all over the city lately, letting demons wander freely. It mumbled something about hunting a thin person earlier. It must have come to the wrong apartment. While he spoke casually to brush her off, Chen Feng's mood grew heavy. If the demons only targeted him, he could handle it. The real danger was them hurting people close to him. Chen Feng liked taking risks, but he never wanted to drag innocent bystanders into his troubles. He refused to bring harm to anyone around him. It looked like he needed to settle scores with these demons sooner rather than later. Lu Ning nodded, still somewhat skeptical. Is that so? Chen Feng reassured her. Don't worry. You already chased it off. It won't dare come back looking for trouble. Lu Ning clenched her fists, her fighting spirit renewed. You're right. I'll stay here to protect you from now on. If more demons show up, I'll scare them off too. Yes, that's great. Chen Feng smiled. He really needed to eliminate these demons fast. Pushing their worries aside, the two resumed their meal. After dinner, Lu Ning volunteered to wash the dishes. Chen Feng picked up his phone and opened an app called Bounty Alliance. It was a public platform for supernatural missions. Anyone could post and accept all kinds of tasks freely. Jobs ranged from tracking people, finding lost items, supernatural tutoring, and errands. As long as requests stayed within legal boundaries, they could be posted on the platform. Chen Feng planned to hire help to track down every subordinate of the 100-eyed demon marquis in the city. He remembered the demon that cursed him, mentioning there were more than 30 accomplices in this city. If so, they must have a hidden lair somewhere. Chen Feng was tired of being hunted passively. This time, he would take the initiative. After tapping away on his phone for a while, he published a request seeking clues about the 100-eyed demon marquis followers. Surprisingly, someone accepted the task less than 2 minutes after he posted it. Chen Feng opened the person's profile and saw the username FattyU. He immediately sent a message. Hello, can you help me track demon activity? FattyU. Do you realize your request overlaps with another existing bounty? Chen Feng, what do you mean? Has someone already posted a similar search? FattyU, yep. There's an official bounty targeting subordinates of the 100-eyed demon marquis. And it's not just him. The Gear demon marquis, Hatred demon marquis, Corruption demon marquis, and many other demon lords all have active warrants out for their forces. Chen Feng froze. He had never heard those names before. He typed back. When was this bounty released? Where can I view it? The chat went quiet for a moment. Then FattyU sent a link. Chen Feng clicked it open. Sure enough, there was an official notice posted last night. Official wanted announcement. Targets. Demon soldiers serving the 100-eyed demon marquis, Gear demon marquis, Hatred demon marquis, Corruption demon marquis, plus forces belonging to several unidentified demon marquis factions still under investigation. Known intelligence. Multiple dimensional rifts have erupted across Guanggu City, sparking sudden demon raids throughout the region. Investigations by the Guardian Bureau confirmed these attacks form a probing offensive by a demon legion. The legion is commanded by numerous demon marquis, wielding considerable power. Small groups of their forces have already infiltrated and lain low across Guanggu City. Most demons are low-rank and mid-rank, with a small number of high-rank elites among them. The demon marquis themselves and the main demon army remain in another realm. This warrant targets only hidden demons operating within the city, who must be eliminated quickly to protect civilians and supernatural ability users. Force distribution confirmed 33 subordinates of the Gear Demon Marquis within the city, 20 for subordinates of the Hatred Demon Marquis. Numbers for other factions remain unknown. Bounty rules: 3,000 yuan for each slain low-rank demon, 10,000 yuan for each slain mid-rank demon, 50,000 yuan for each slain high-rank demon. Anyone who locates a hidden demon lair and provides accurate coordinates will receive a 30,000 yuan reward upon handing the intelligence to the Guardians. No kills required. Access restrictions: only verified professional bounty hunters may take on these missions. Guest accounts are ineligible. Issuing authority: Guanggu City Guardian Bureau. Chen Feng stared at the notice thoughtfully. The Guardian Bureau had already issued bounties. With official rewards active, his own amateur request posted from a guest account would carry little weight. Fatty, you messaged again. Finished reading the notice? Chen Feng replied quickly. I have. Looks my request duplicates the official bounty. Sorry about that. I'll withdraw it right away. Fatty, you. Hold on. I'm curious. Why would a guest account post a search for demons? Usually only bounty hunters hunt for their trails. Chen Feng did not hide the truth. A subordinate of the 100-Eyed Demon faction attacked my home today. They will send more people after me, so I wanted to find them first to cut the threat at its source. Fatty, you. Phew, how are you still alive? Chen Feng. I might not be a registered bounty hunter, but I'm a supernatural mage. Fatty, you got it. Did you kill that demon? Chen Feng. No, I chased it away. Fatty, you. Whoa. That's perfect news. Any demon that reveals itself leaves traces. We can follow that trail straight to their base. Fatty, you. I'm taking your task. Send me your address quickly. I have methods to pinpoint the demon's location. Joy flickered across Chen Feng's eyes, and he agreed at once. Great, I appreciate your help. I'll send you my GPS location right now. He forwarded the location. Fatty, you. All right. Mind if I ask why these demons are targeting you? Chen Feng thought for a moment. Another 100-eyed faction demon came for me yesterday. I killed it, and this one arrived seeking revenge. Fatty, you. Holy hell. Is that demon's body still there? Chen Feng. It's under my bed. You can take it with you if you need it. Fatty, you. Excellent. A corpse from the same faction will make tracking far easier. I guarantee I'll find where the demons are hiding. Chen Feng, under one condition. Don't mention you're a bounty hunter when you arrive. There's someone else in my place who doesn't know about the demon body under the bed. Fatty, you agreed readily. No problem at all. I'll come under another cover identity. After that, the messages stopped. Chen Feng knew the man was on his way. By then, Lu Ning had finished cleaning up. She wiped her hands and walked into the living room. Hey Chen Feng, the Guardian Bureau transferred those 30,000 yuan to me today. I don't need it for now, so I'm sending all of it over to help you recover. What's your bank account number again? Chen Feng fell silent, a twinge of awkwardness rising inside him. All because of the misunderstanding about his life source overdraw. Lu Ning had cooked for him and offered him living expenses nonstop. It felt like he had somehow gained an overly caring guardian. She had worked hard to get that subsidy, and he was about to take every cent. Chen Feng still had his pride. After thinking it over, he decided he could not push his luck too far. 30,000 is too much. Send me 28,000, and keep 2,000 for yourself to buy supplies. My account number is 427867. Taking the full 30,000 would be greedy. 28,000 felt reasonable. Lu Ning answered simply. Okay. She tapped away on her phone. Moments later, money arrived in Chen Feng's account. A notification popped up showing a full 30,000 yuan transferred. Chen Feng stared in surprise. I told you to keep 2,000 for yourself. Why send everything? Lu Ning looked at him with concern. I have no immediate use for the money right now. You should keep all of it to aid your recovery. Her words stirred a strange warmth in Chen Feng's chest. She did not reserve a single yuan for herself. Apart from his mother, who would ever treat him like this? Fine. He would accept her kindness. It was time to clear up certain misunderstandings. With that thought, Chen Feng pushed himself up from the wheelchair. Lu Ning, there's something I need to tell you. You're standing. Doesn't that hurt? Sit back down quickly. Panic flashed across Lu Ning's face, and she hurried forward to steady him. Chen Feng cleared his throat. It's fine. Truth is, I've already recovered. I ordered special medicine delivered today. I spent a fortune on a remedy that repairs damaged life source. My body is fully healed now. Lu Ning stared in disbelief. Really? Absolutely. Watch this. Chen Feng started unwrapping all his bandages, revealing unblemished skin underneath. Lu Ning's cheeks flushed abruptly at the unexpected sight. She hastily covered her eyes. What are you doing, taking all your bandages off out of nowhere? Chen Feng remained calm. Look, there isn't a single wound, no bleeding at all. My body truly is fine. Lu Ning slowly parted her fingers and peeked through. Chen Feng had trained at a gym for 3 years, boasting a physique far above average. The sight caught her off guard. He had healthy, tanned skin. Smooth, defined muscle lines stretched across his torso, with clear abdominal contours and balanced, toned muscle groups across his shoulders, chest, and arms, carrying a natural, athletic appeal. Lu Ning instinctively glanced away, only to steal another look a second later, her heartbeat quickening. What about your life source ability? Chen Feng chose his words carefully. My life source has partially recovered, though its rank dropped. It fell from king tier down to mid tier. Claiming a full recovery would sound too suspicious that he could explain later that more medicine restored its power gradually. He took a small blade and sliced a shallow cut across his palm, letting Lu Ning watch as the wound slowly closed and healed. Lu Ning's eyes widened. That's incredible. It really works. Chen Feng smiled. It cost millions. Apart from the school donation, I used all the savings my parents left behind. Either way, I'm so happy you've recovered. Genuine joy lit up Lu Ning's face. Chen Feng grinned. That's the whole story. Thank you for looking after me these past few days. You won't need to go through all that trouble anymore. Lu Ning smiled softly. It must have been uncomfortable relying on others for everything. Yeah, it was. Chen Feng nodded, then changed tone. Though, could you still send living expenses every month? He scratched the back of his neck. My life source hasn't fully stabilized yet. I need to keep buying medicine for ongoing treatment, and that costs a lot. Lu Ning answered without hesitation. Of course. I promised I would support you until your life source fully heals. Chen Feng brightened. Great. Lu Ning continued. Even though you don't need constant care, I'll still come over often to cook meals for you. Chen Feng looked surprised. You'll still come to cook? Lu Ning smiled. Because you seem to enjoy my cooking a lot. Chen Feng's heart skipped a beat. Lu Ning truly was someone with the same warmth as family. As the two chatted casually, rapid knocks echoed from the front door. Bang bang bang. Hello? I'm Fatty you. Is Mr. Chen Feng home? Chen Feng was shocked. He arrived far sooner than expected. Lu Ning glanced warily toward the entrance. Could it be more demons? Chen Feng quickly reassured her. No, this is someone I asked for help. He walked over and moved the broken door aside to open up the entryway. A middle-aged overweight man stood outside, dressed in a bright yellow work uniform. Fatty Yu first glanced at the violently damaged door, then swept his gaze across the apartment interior. Where's the item? He asked. Chen Feng knew he meant the demon's corpse. Follow me. The man trailed Chen Feng into the bedroom, and Chen Feng dragged a sack containing the demon's body out from under the bed. Fatty Yu unzipped it and took a quick look. Everything checks out. I'll take it away then. Chen Feng nodded. We can keep in touch over the phone. Fatty Yu lifted the sack onto his shoulder and headed toward the door. Lu Ning caught sight of the whole exchange. She stared at the man in confusion. Wait, why are you taking that sack away? If she remembered correctly, she thought the sack held a life-sized model. Panic surged through Chen Feng. Right. They agreed Fatty Yu would use a cover identity. He glanced at the lettering printed across the man's uniform. Second-hand recycling platform. Chen Feng froze. This was bad. Fatty Yu turned toward Lu Ning with a perfectly natural, sincere expression. Hello there. This is a second-hand item Mr. Chen listed online for sale.